Shampoo here at Anime Central. Y'all know what the deal is, guys. But anyways, we're gonna get into this Fishman Island arc in a second. But I just want to say something really quick. Some people were telling me to skip this arc and like you don't really have to review it and stuff like that. I don't really understand why. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get in. We're gonna get into this. All right, I'm gonna clear all that up at the end and give my overall thoughts of the arc and everything at the end. But anyways, we got a lot to go through, guys, so I hope y'all got y'all stuff ready because we about to go in. But anyways, starts off pretty much right where we left off and everything. Nami is actually talking to Rayleigh, and he actually teaches her and shows her pretty much about the coded ship's capabilities and how to maneuver and stuff. So we start descending to Fishman Island, okay? And on their way, they run into these huge sea monsters and stuff and everything. And as they're going, they actually run into the Caribou Pirates. Now, Caribou, he was actually someone that was up on Sabbaty when they returned to Sabbaty. And he was actually fooled by the fake Straw Hats. And Caribou actually has this, he's a devil fruit eater. He actually has these mud powers and everything. And his body is pretty much endless, pretty much if he sucks you in and shit, right? So, Straw Hats actually have a run-in with the Caribou Pirates, you know, his whole crew. And their ship is actually being pulled by that big-ass fucking cow motherfucker, right? That was originally seen at Arlong Park, where Nami was going through her thing and everything. So they're trying to board the ship and shit, and Caribou actually jumps on. But his crew is actually about to jump on after him, but before they can actually jump on, that fucking cow bolts the fuck out of there, yo. I mean, just jets. And the reason is because it actually recognizes Luffy and Sanji and Nami and everybody, like, oh shit, I don't want to be a part of this. So it fucking jets out, and Caribou's sitting up there like, you know, he's saying he's all pompous and everything, talking about let's kill him, take over the ship and all this shit. And then he looks behind him, he's like, oh shit, my crew's not here. And then he's pretty much like, oh damn, you know what I'm saying? He tries to play it off as if he's not the captain and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just here, you know, and everything. So they ended up fucking like strapping him up, like tying him up and everything, right? So they run into this massive underwater waterfall, right? And it's pretty much, that's what's gonna pretty much take them down further so they can get to Fishman Island. But before they do that, the fucking Caribou Pirates fucking come back and shit, and that fucking goddamn big ass goddamn octopus that they run into, that big ass goddamn Kraken, yo, fucking shits on them, yo, just fucking destroys their whole shit. And Caribou's like, god damn, and these motherfuckers, their ship is fucking destroyed. And then out of this whole thing, Luffy's looking at the Kraken and he's like, I want to tame it. I'm like, what? That shit big as a bitch, yo. What the fuck? And everybody's like, oh shit, you know. So what happens is the fucking Kraken starts fucking attacking the goddamn Sunny, and fucking Chopper, Frankie, and Robin get nasty with it, fucking protecting the fucking Sunny and shit. It's like, okay. So then like, alright, we gotta handle this Kraken. So Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji get in like these little bubbles, right? So that they can breathe on the water to go outside the ship. So they end up going outside the ship and everything. And then fucking Luffy hits that third fucking gear, preparing this fucking beastly ass haymaker, yo. I was like, god damn, Luffy, what you about to do, son? And he's feeling kind of weak in the water and shit, and the Kraken's about to hit his ass, right? And then fucking Sanji just gets nice with it. He jets out the bubble, son, and starts fucking gunning for the goddamn Kraken and shit, and fucking uses that fucking Diablo Jinbei on his ass, yo. I mean, his foot was on fire underwater, yo. That shit was boiling hot. How you maintain that shit underwater, yo? And he fucking just laid that shit out like it was nothing, so Luffy didn't get harmed. Then after he does that, Sanji starts fucking heading back to his bubble and shit, right? Because he don't want to fucking suffocate or nothing, right? And then as he's heading back, fucking this shit's about to fucking clobber Sanji. But your boy Zoro hit him with that 3-sword style, son, and just chop his whole shit up. I was like, damn. And then at that time, yo, fucking Luffy, he had that fucking gear third ready, yo. He had that fucking armament on, yo, with that massive fucking elephant gun, yo, and just suppressed it in its fucking face. Fucking haymaker for days, yo. I was like, damn, get rocked, bitch. Let's go. And after they fucking demolished this Kraken, the goddamn, there's like this shark that just comes out of nowhere looking happy as shit, fucking breaks free and shit and just fucking goes off, right? And then they're fucking getting pulled down the goddamn waterfall, and goddamn fucking Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy are fucking being pulled in there, but everybody on the Sunny is trying to go after them so they don't get split up. And they're falling down, free falling and shit, and goddamn Luffy's like, hey, this shit's fun, he's fucking laughing and shit. I'm like, dog, you underwater, you in a bubble, you falling down a waterfall, this shit ain't fun, like what the fuck? Like everybody else is screaming and shit, he's the only one fucking laughing, but they end up getting down there, right? And they're split up, and everybody on the Sunny is looking for them, like, oh, I wonder if they're okay, and you know, they're confident that they're okay and everything. And then as they keep going, Frankie reveals his fucking goddamn nipple flashlights and shit, and they realize they're surrounded by a whole bunch of sea monsters and shit, so they keep going, and they end up running into like this ghost ship that was actually led by the Vanderdeck and shit, right? And also this big ass fucking fishman and shit, like this monk motherfucker. And he's actually about to fucking crush their ass, but goddamn Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji just come out of nowhere and fucking help him out of that predicament. And these motherfuckers are riding on the Kraken. This motherfucker Luffy actually tamed the Kraken. I'm like, god damn, Luffy, you know what, when you see shit, you really want that shit, like that is yours. Okay, Luffy, handle that shit, yo, handle that shit. But anyways, what happens eventually is that there's this huge underwater volcano about to break off. So they're like, oh shit, we gotta run. So the fucking Kraken is fucking holding the goddamn Sunny and shit, and it's carrying them running fast as shit from this goddamn underwater volcano. The lava is right on their ass, and Nami's like, jump in the trench, jump in the trench. They end up fucking jumping in the trench and shit. The lava's coming down. They're like, oh shit, like we're not gonna be able to outrun it. And then your boy Usopp get nice. He fucking gives them enough time to get away, yo. That man Usopp leveled the fuck up. That's right. It's what it is. And then they end up outside Fishman Island. They're like, oh shit, we're here. That's Fishman Island and shit, right? And then out of nowhere, these fucking sea monsters just fucking show up out of nowhere. And they're like, oh shit. But there's these goddamn pirates, these fucking fishermen pirates, fucking holding them down. They're riding them and everything. And the little group that's there with the three is being led by Hammond. And he's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, he knows who he is. He's like, oh, you know, that's Luffy and stuff. And he's like, hey, we got somebody that wants to see you. You won't come with us and everything. If you don't, you're gonna die, yada yada, right? And then Luffy, you know, Nami's like, you know what, Luffy and them, they ain't gonna succumb to that dude. They ain't gonna go ahead and bow down to a motherfucker like that. You know how they are. They're reckless. They go hard. You know what I'm saying? Balls to the wall. They put in work. That's what they do. So Nami's talking to Frankie like, hey, get the fucking Coop the Birds going. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get the fuck up out of here. We gotta jet past them, right? And fucking Luffy gives his answer to them while Frankie's getting it ready and shit. Frankie and Usopp's getting it ready. And Luffy's like, he pretty much like, hell no, we ain't going with you. You know what I'm saying? We ain't bowing down to you. Fuck that shit. So they're about to attack and everything. They're about to attack the Sunny, and then boom, they fucking jet past their ass, yo, and they actually fucking go into the way Fishman Island is set up is surrounded by this huge bubble, right? But there's actually like one bubble, then there's like an inner bubble and shit. So they fucking go into it and they actually enter illegally. They didn't get into the right entrance. So they go into it and they lose the coding to their ship. Like, oh shit, the bubble, the fucking coating's gone. And then that shit's still propelling them through it. Then they go through the second coating and the second bubble, and that shit's filled with water. So everybody is just fucking going down and shit. Everybody looks fucking grim for them and shit. They can't swim against the current because the current's too fucking hard and everything. Hammond and his boys like, should we go after him? It was like, you know, yeah, we'll catch up to him later and everything. So after that, after they get done pulled through the current and stuff and everything, Luffy ends up waking up, and when he wakes up, he's with Chopper and Sanji, right? And he wakes up and shit, and they're actually there with Kami. And she's got her fucking little goon squad of little mermaids and everything that help save them everything out of the water, but they don't know exactly where everyone else is at this time. And Kami's sitting there telling them about where they are, you know, saying where she's living and stuff. And then she finally decides, you know what, I'm gonna show you Fishman Island. So Kami is taking them, showing them Fishman Island, and eventually they run into this mermaid grove, right? And Sanji is fucking going buck wild, yo. He's like, holy shit. Like, this dude is fucking going nuts. He's like, oh my god, oh my god. Like, he believes he found the fucking all blue and shit. I'm like, damn, Sanji, what the fuck, yo? Yo, and then there's this goddamn mermaid that's looking at him. Sanji's like crying, yo. Like, he is so fucking felt by this shit. He's just crying in the river, yo. And this mermaid just looks at him like, why are you crying? Come in the water so we can dance, yo. This man Sanji, he wanted to live there, yo. That's my boy Sanji. Them banging ass mermaids. Let's go. This man Sanji thought it was too good to be true that he was gonna fucking die there, yo. He was like, oh my god. But anyways, meanwhile, Hammond he actually ends up going to the Noah in the Fishman district, and he actually meets up with Hody, right? And Hody's like, hey, I want Luffy to be brought with me. And I'm like, oh shit, here's the main dude right here. Here's the guy that's gonna be causing all the fuss. He gonna be ready to rumble. Luffy about to put him in. I could tell right from the jump. Let's go. We find out that Frankie, Robin, and Nami are actually together. And Zoro's actually by himself, which is never a fucking good thing. This dude can't tell direction for shit, right? But then, like, as he's going, he actually seemingly runs into trouble. I'm like, oh shit, man. Zoro about to fucking go into some trouble, handle some shit already. God damn, Zoro, what's up with you, man? It is what it is. So then the Neptune army comes there, and they're actually led by Prince Fukaboshi, right? And they're coming in and everything, and then the mermaids actually see him. They see him coming in. They're like, oh shit, we gotta hide the Straw Hats and everything. So they ended up hiding them because they're saying, hey, we came in illegally and all this. So, you know, they're probably looking for us and stuff. And Luffy and them end up hiding. But Sanji, he's actually being held by this badass mermaid and shit, by them luscious titties, right? By them titties, right? And then they get there, and then the prince and stuff get there with his brothers, and he's like, y'all seen the Straw Hats? Y'all seen Straw Hat Luffy around? And the mermaid's like, no, I haven't seen him around, you know, we haven't seen anybody, really, you know, it's just, you know, pretty much just us here and stuff. Are you sure? I think we heard that he's around this area and stuff. Like, nah, he ain't been here. You better carry your ass, you know what I'm saying? So they were like, alright, it's what it is. So they ended up turning around and leaving. Now, mind you, this entire time, like, Sanji has been going crazy with fucking nosebleeds. And the reason is because he hasn't been around real chicks in so fucking long, right? So, like, any badass chick that he sees, like Nami and Robin, like, he just loses it. And almost to an extent, it was getting a little annoying almost. But, like, when it stopped, well, I'm gonna get to that. When it stopped, it got a little bit better. But anyways, let's go on with this. So, they actually end up leaving, but your boys Hammond, with his boys and everything, actually end up there at the Mermaid Cove looking for fucking Luffy. And as they're leaving, Sanji, like, he can't bear it no more, yo. He cannot bear this shit no more. And he fucking lets this epic ass nosebleed that fucking takes him to the brink of death loose. That shit shoots up and rockets to the fucking sky, yo. I was like, holy shit. And then when that happened, you heard him scream and everything. The mermaids are screaming and shit like, oh my god, what happened? What's wrong with him? And then Luffy and shit actually come out from hiding to see what's going on with Sanji. But that enables the goddamn prince to look behind him and everything. The prince and his brothers look behind him and see Luffy and everything. And like, hold on, that's Luffy right there. And then they turn around to start, you know, pretty much make contact with Luffy. So him is like, fuck it, we gonna take you by force, son. It's what it is. And then they start to attack and shit. Kami, she actually fucking busts loose and gets the fuck out of there to go ahead and do something, right? And then this man, Luffy, yo, he hits that second gear and jet pistols all three of them at one fucking time, yo, laying them down. Is what it is, yo. And then after that, that big ass dog pet motherfucker that they had with him started coming at Luffy and shit. And then he hockeyed the fuck out of him. And then Usopp and Chopper were fucking awestruck. They were amazed. They are amazed because they just seen greatness. Because they were so amazed because this man uses hockey on the dude. He was like, holy shit, he made this motherfucker not want to fight. Like, it was just done with right there. By that time, fucking Kami comes back and she's on this big ass fucking Ryugu or some shit. This big ass fucking flying fish and shit, right? And she's like, come on, let's get out of here. And everything. So she's yelling at him to get everybody on. So Luffy and everybody, they go ahead, they jump on and everything. And they start heading towards town because there's supposed to be some more humans in town that could possibly help, right? So, and then when that happens, by the time they get out of there, the Neptune army comes back, you know what I'm saying, your boy Fukaboshi, yo, and then he starts talking to the mermaids, like, hey, why didn't you tell them that, you know, why don't you tell us that they were here and stuff? And the mermaids were like, you know, they were cool people, you know, we didn't see nothing wrong with them, you know, they seem like good people and everything. You know, we thought that you wanted to go ahead and like arrest them and stuff. And then to come to find out that they didn't want to actually arrest them or anything. They just wanted to relay a message from Jinbei and also invite them to actually the palace. So they're still looking for an actual donor, blood donor for Sanji and everything, and they actually end up finding one, right? And it ends up, these motherfuckers is two fucking cross-dressers and shit, right? And Sanji's fucking losing it. He's like, holy shit, what the fuck, yo, right? And then, and then Chopper actually recognizes that Luffy actually got poisoned during his fight with Hammond and everything. But the thing is that it's a deadly poison, but the thing is it's not affecting Luffy whatsoever because his fight with Magellan had improved down. I was like, okay, that's nice, let's go. And as Sanji is like resting up now, right? And actually Chopper stays back with him just to make sure that he's all good, because this whole time Chopper has been putting like Sanji on this regiment and shit, trying to ease him into actually seeing real women and stuff. So, you know, he sees Sanji as like a very definite risk right now. So he's trying to like stay over him and make sure that he's alright. Basically, Luffy, Usopp, and Kami actually end up leaving out and they head towards the Mermaid Cafe. And right when they get there, guess who they see coming out? Your boy Brook, yo. And guess what? He getting them panties, yo. He getting what he always wants. He's got two chicks just on him, kissing up on him, you know what I'm saying? The Soul King, it is what it is, yo. And then this dude is with that goddamn starfish, yo. What's his name? Papag or some shit? Yo, he's chilling with him like Jamaica. Nah, it is what it is. Not a mercy. You know what I'm saying? I was like, get the fuck out of here, yo. And as they're about to go in, you know, Luffy finds out that they ain't really got no meat like talking about, right? So your boy Papa, yo, you know what I'm saying? He's like, look, I got the meat, son. I got the hookup, you know? So he pretty much invites him to his crib, right? And this is where we start to find out more about Decken. And this cat, like, pretty much, he has a very long following, long history and everything with the land and the sea. And the guy that's actually there now is actually one of Deccan's descendants and everything. And he actually has a history with the royal family, with King Neptune and Princess Shirahoshi. And he's been like sending these love letters to her for like 10 years and waiting for a response for 10 years now, right? And you know, he's like infatuated with her and in love with her and everything. And now it's become so much that he's so infatuated that he is a threat to her, and she now has to live in like this like steel shell like tower and stuff, and she's pretty much secluded there because Deccan can strike at any time. It is what it is. That's what Deccan does. In fact, he was actually the captain of the Flying Dutchman that they actually, the Flying Dutchman ship that they ran into before the underwater volcano actually blew up and everything. And you know, it's kind of funny that happened with the whole monk and stuff. But anyways, we also find out that pretty much the entire Fishman Island is being protected by Big Mom, and she pretty much took over after Whitebeard, you know, passed away and stuff. And the way that they actually have an agreement with her is that she's a big fan of sweets. So they have this huge candy shop that they actually go ahead and make a whole bunch of sweets for her in exchange for, you know, taking care of the island, looking over it and stuff. And Big Mom is actually one of the 4 emperors. So while this is happening, the Madam Mermaid at the Mermaid Cafe and everything that they met earlier when they were actually treating Sanji and such, she actually has like this gift where she can kind of see the future, and it's very known on the island that she has a very knack for this talent to be pretty much to come true. So she kind of foresees that Luffy will bring the destruction of Fishman Island, and she's like, and she starts going crazy. She's like, throw him out, get Luffy out, get the Straw Hat out. A man with the Straw Hat is gonna destroy the island and stuff and everything. Like, and she's like letting it known to the public and everything, and she's having like a nervous breakdown because of her vision that she's having. And so what happens is that at the same time she's kind of wishing that it actually does not come true. So meanwhile, while this is happening in the Fishman district, right, on the Noah, these humans that were slaves, they actually end up leaving, right? They actually end up escaping. And escape from the ship, and they start heading out. And then Hody's man, they're like, hey, you know, these humans escaped, yada yada. Hody's like, you know what, I'm handling my own, right? So he actually gets up and he takes these fucking energy pills, these fucking steroid pills, yo. His eyes turn bloodshot, yo. And then he starts getting mean mugging, yo. He shoots after him, and then he's like in front of him. They're like, how the fuck did this dude get? The pirate's like, how the hell did this dude get in front of us like this, yo? And then Hody's just laughing like, and then he's like, yo, he starts fucking zooming straight through the goddamn ship, blowing it up like and all this shit, right? And then he zooms at the fucking mast of the ship, and then this motherfucker is like a shark, yo. He got them shark teeth just he fucking bites the mast of the ship and just straight crushes that shit. I was like, damn, yo, how your jaws that fucking diesel, son? And then they come to find out that this man Hody want to go ahead and take down King Neptune. He want to conquer Fishman Island and everything, especially because of the whole tiger incident, and we gonna get into that soon enough, trust me. So Luffy, Usopp, Kami, Brook, and the goddamn starfish, you know what I'm saying, Papa, yeah, man, Rasta, like they actually fucking end up running into Nami, and it actually turns out that Papa or whatever, he actually like has his own like clothing line and stuff, like this dude is fresh, you know what I'm saying, he the shit, right? He the shit on Fishman Island, it is what it is, but he's got his own like store and all this stuff or whatever. And Nami's in there haggling and everything, trying to barter and trying to get the best deal and stuff. And actually, they come in and they're like, "Hey, there's Nami." And then Nami sees us like, "Hey, what's going on?" You know, and and what happens is that she finds out about goddamn the deal that she could possibly get, and fucking the Starfish is like, "Hey, you know, go ahead, do what you want. You know, so I mean, you get a deal, you know, go ahead, you know, get whatever you want. It's on me and everything." They end up taking everything, clearing the whole house, yo. You don't tell Nami to do that shit. She gonna take everything. It is what it is. But then what happens is that they actually end up leaving the store. They actually end up running into King Neptune. He comes there in person. Now this is unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Because he usually don't grace his presence down there. You know what I'm saying? He usually stay up in the palace. It's what it is. And King Neptune, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be a beastly warrior and stuff from his time and everything. But you know, he's got a little bit older. But it is what it is. He's still doing his thing. But anyways, he goes ahead and greets them and say, "Hey, I want y'all to come to the palace." And the thing is, he's actually got that shark that fucking escaped from the Kraken earlier when the Straw Hats actually defeated the Kraken from earlier. And it turns out that that shark is actually a pet of King Neptune's daughter, Princess Shirahoshi. So pretty much that's kind of why, you know, that they're given the reason to come to the palace and all that stuff, right? So they looked out for the shark and all that. So they're like, you know what? And then King Neptune's like, "Hey, we're gonna have a banquet and stuff, you know." And they're like, "Hey, all right, you know, shit, let's do that, you know, let's go." Luffy's like, he's all for it, and he says, "Hey, you know, Kami and Papa, you know what I'm saying? Y'all come on, let's go, let's grub." You know, so okay, this is cool. Now, while this is happening, the mermaids actually run across this barrel. Okay, now remember Caribou? Like the Straw Hats actually end up putting Caribou in this barrel and sealing him in there, and the mermaids actually run across it and like, "Oh, I wonder what's inside it and everything." So they end up opening it, and Caribou comes out, and then he end up like kidnapping mermaids because he's got like that mud food or whatever, and he's just putting them all in his body and stuff like that. So that ends up being a mess. And then also what's happening is that the princes, the three princes, they actually run into Madame Shirley, and they learn about what she foresees for Luffy. So they're like, "Oh dang, well, we weren't seeing him as a threat before. We just wanted to get their assistance and also relay this message, but now they kind of see him as a threat." So as they're going towards the palace for King Neptune, Luffy, all he could think about is the banquet food. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is watering at the fucking mouth. You know Luffy, right? You know, and Brook, he's just like really excited and stuff. All Nami can think about is like the possible treasures that can be there. They actually find out that Zoro is already there, getting drunk as shit. You know what I'm saying? You know Zoro all about his sake, right? So he's there, he's already drinking, he's already been invited, he's chilling. And then it turns out that actually Robin, she actually broke off with Nami and Frankie earlier, because that's why when they saw Nami, they weren't together. Robin actually was looking for like some history on Fishman Island because she knew some type of vital thing was actually there. And Frankie was actually looking for one of Tom's relatives, his, you know what I'm saying, his shipwright master's relatives. It's pretty much to kind of inform him about what happened and everything, and also to possibly coat the Sunny, because they lost the coat when they actually went into Fishman Island. And Chopper is still looking over Sanji, right? So they eventually get to the palace and everything. Then as they get there, like Luffy, he ends up breaking off by himself, like just like stealth mode and shit, right? Because he starts smelling food and everything, because he's all just thinking about food, he's hungry as shit. So he starts smelling food, and then he ends up like getting to this big hard shell tower, right? And he ends up seeing like this servant leaving with this huge ass tray of food. I'm like, damn, like that's just big as a bitch, right? So he ends up actually gaining access into this room because that's where he smelled the food and everything. and it's dark as shit. It's dark as hell. And he's in there, he's jumping up and down on some like real soft shit and everything. And next thing you know, the lights turn on and shit. And then it turns out he was jumping on some big ass titty show. This mermaid was bad as shit. It was goddamn Princess Shirahoshi, King Neptune's daughter, yo. Bad as hell, right? And then she's like, oh shit. And then she is fucking like gargantuan big and shit. Luffy like this tall, yo. He couldn't get in them sugar walls even if he tried, yo. Maybe that third gear, maybe that gum. Other than that, don't even attempt. Let's go. So the next thing you know, Shirahoshi starts yelling and screaming and shit. Like Luffy's like, hey, keep it down. What the hell's going on? You know what I'm saying? I ain't do nothing. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. And then what happens is they cut to Decken, right? To Vander Decken. And he actually has the mark fruit. So pretty much anything he marks, he can throw in any direction or whatever, and it will hit its mark, right? So he actually ends up taking that goddamn axe and throwing it at his mark, which is Shirahoshi. That's why she's in that big ass tower, that steel tower, to keep her safe, and she can't really go outside of it. So she's been there for fucking ever, right? Because like I said, this dude Decken dude is infatuated with her. He either wants her, he wants her to marry him or die. There's no other fucking choices. That is it. Either A or B. There's no C. You can't go to D. Bitch, A or B. It is what it is. So he ends up hurling that shit, and the door is actually still open, right? And then this fucking axe starts coming through the door and everything, but Luffy, with his skill now, he can actually sense it. He senses it coming in, boom, deflects it, that shit hits the wall. The Shirahoshi knows, like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? He protected me from the goddamn axe hitting me. I was like, okay, that's right, Luffy. Let's go. So that's when Nami, Brook, and Usopp actually find out why they were brought to the palace. It wasn't for no goddamn banquet. It's because they wanted to arrest them because of what was foreseen and everything. And they actually find out that fucking Zoro was actually fucking hammed up and shit, fucking all fucking shackled up and everything, but he was out of it. He's drunk as a motherfucker. This dude's sleeping it off, right? So it actually shows them back, Luffy back with Princess Shirahoshi, and what happens is that all the guards hear her screaming and yelling still and everything, and then they actually rush the room. But what happens is that Shirahoshi ends up hiding Luffy because she see what he just did, and you know, and everything, see that he was cool and stuff. So she ended up hiding him and everything, and she got the guards to actually leave. Once they left, Luffy started tearing up all the food that dude brother. I mean, these massive plates of food, yo. Just eating that shit up like it was nothing. I was like, God damn, Luffy, doesn't your stomach ever end, yo? Nigga. Like, what the fuck, yo? And then, once he's done with that, he's like, look, you've been stuck in here for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? He kind of sees her as a coward. He's always calling her a coward because she cries easily and everything. She hasn't really done nothing for herself to fucking get out of there, nothing. He's like, you've been in here for 10 years, coward. Let's go. Let's go for a walk. Let's go out. And then she's like, oh, I don't know about all this time. I'm supposed to be staying here and everything. He's like, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's put in work. So while this is happening, the palace guards are trying to fucking take Nami, Usopp, and Brook into custody, right? But they holding it down. They holding it down against the palace guards. After they go ahead and make this huge air bubble so they can move around freely within the palace and everything. Because they have these units pretty much, that these coral units that can actually expand and make these air bubbles so that people can breathe down there and move around there freely, so they're not actually like swimming through the water and shit, right? So they're actually battling and stuff, and they're holding it down. King Neptune's standing there, and he's not sure. You know, he's in a dilemma. He's not sure if what they're doing is right or wrong, if they're being too hasty about this and everything, because everything that they're doing is off of a presumption and stuff. And they know, I mean, that the Straw Hats is cold and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Your boy Jinbei, it is what it is. But anyways, what happens is that Neptune actually goes ahead and he actually makes his move. He tries to take into custody by going ahead and make an attack, right? So he comes in with that trident, like, yeah! Then fucking Zoro just come out of nowhere, like, bang! Yo! And block the fuck out of that shit. And then when he blocks it, they're like, oh shit, it's Zoro. So it's like, I heard a party broke out, and I wouldn't miss it for the world, yo! I was like, okay, that man got an unlimited swagger, son. God damn, yo. So while this is happening, Decken and Hody actually meet up in the Fishman district on the Noah, and they actually make a pact because they want to come together to see the same goal of the demise of the royal family and taking over the Fishman Island, right? So so everybody from Usopp to Nami to Brook to Zoro, they handle the palace on their own. They got everybody tied up and everything. It is what it is. Next thing you know, the princes come. You know what I'm saying? Fucking Fukaboshi, Momboshi, and ReUpload, you know what I'm saying? All the Boshi showed up, and how it's set up is that Fishman Island is here, the palace is up here within its own bubble, and the only way that you can get to the palace is pretty much by this stream, this current, or this gateway, and it has to be open for you. So they get there, they get on this intercom, and they actually start talking, and they talk to Zoro, and pretty much Zoro, you know, that they pretty much find out that they have everybody kind of in their custody now, and they're taking, well, they pretty much kind of took over the palace, but it kind of happened, it wasn't their fault, you know what I'm saying? So they asked for their demands, and Zoro's like, look, we want you to find out other Straw Hats, other crew members, bring them here, and we want you to coat the Sunny so we can get the hell up out of here. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much it. But then the Prince Fukaboshi, he's like, okay, you know what? But before we leave to do that, I need to make sure that, you know, no one will be harmed, and also that I'll give you the message that I was supposed to from Jinbei for Luffy. And he tells him, don't fight Hody, and I'll also meet you in the sea forest. And Zoro's like, no one's gonna be harmed, it is what it is, let's go. So they end up, the princes actually end up going off to find the Straw Hats. So word spreads about Luffy and the Straw Hats and everything to pretty much everyone around Fishman Island and everything, right? So Decken, he's actually throwing human pirates, okay? He started throwing a more on-style human pirates at the princess, because they're gonna start their plan. Hody and Decken are starting their plan, and basically what's happening is that they're fucking face planting straight into that bitch and shit. And then Hachi gets there and he's pleading with Hody like, hey, you know what I'm saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? It was like, you could kill them. And he's like, man, humans ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? Humans pretty much ain't shit. Like, we're using them for this. If they can finish their objective, then they'll be free. And basically what he's trying to do, he's getting Decken to go ahead and infiltrate the palace, because there's no other way pretty much to get in there. But he's the only person that's been able to do it because he has her marked. So he's throwing all these human pirates in there, and they're scared to shit, yo. But the ones that survive, they get up. And he pretty much wants them for the objective to open up the bridge, the gateway, so that they can actually get into the palace, right? So as this is happening, they're hearing all these boom, boom, all these fucking impacts from all these humans fucking face planting into the goddamn steel shell tower fucking wall that Shirahoshi's in. The guards are hearing it, and Brook hears it and stuff, and then so Brook actually ends up piecing out to go see what's going on, especially since they think Luffy's in that direction and stuff, right? And Luffy's still talking to Shirahoshi, telling him, oh, let's go, right? So he actually ends up, so Brook actually ends up going there, and he actually ends up taking the Minister of the Right, I believe, with him. Okay, because the minister of the right is, there's a minister of the right and the minister of the left, and they're both kind of like the right and left hand of pretty much King Neptune. And he ends up taking him like strapped up over there, and he sees all these human pirates and stuff and shit, and then as soon as they get there, fucking Luffy and the princess fucking just start shooting out. But the thing is, before they shoot out, princess is like, I can't just go out there like that. People, too many people are gonna see me, notice me, all that stuff. So they come with an idea to actually put Princess Shirahoshi in that big ass goddamn pet shark's mouth, and they just skate the fuck out of there and shit. I was like, goddamn, these motherfuckers are serious. Luffy really wants to get this chick up out of there. It is what it is. And Hachi is still trying to plead with them, trying to plead with Hody not to go with their plan and everything. You know what I'm saying? And Hody's talking about Arlong and how he's ashamed of Hachi for what he's doing and all that stuff, because Hody used to look up to Arlong and shit. You know what I'm saying? That was the Arlong Pirates. He stood for everything that Hody was all about. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much like shitting on humans and all this stuff. So pretty much Hody's like, you know what, like, just out of respect, I ain't gonna mess with you, but hey, I don't control Dekken, he can do what he wants. Man, Dekken fucking marks his ass, he marks Hachi with his other hand, yo, and fucking shits on him with arrows, yo. Hachi's fucking running, trying to get the fuck out of there and shit. He swims out of there. He's like, the arrows can't follow me now. Them arrows fucking travel after him in the water, yo. Yeah, fucking pierce his whole shit up, yo. Just a fucking sea of arrows all up in his candy ass, yo. And Hachi is fucked up. And I'm like, yo, man, can my boy Hachi get a break, son? He was already fucked up because he was fucking looking out for the Sunny before, yo. This dude came in there with crutches, yo. God damn. Can my boy Hachi get a break? That's all I'm saying. So after this happens, right, Sanji, he's feeling a little bit better and everything, and they actually get confronted by, these guards and stuff at the Royal Palace, trying to go ahead and ham up, put Chopper and Sanji in custody and stuff, but Chopper ain't having that, yo. Hit that kung fu, putting it down. And Sanji come out there, and Chopper's like, I don't know about this Sanji and everything, take it easy. That boy Sanji put in work, yo. He lays that law down, son. And as that's happening, they actually, Hachi actually runs up into them, because he's badly hurt and stuff. And then, but nobody around wants to get involved and everything. So Chopper and Sanji are actually looking out for him and stuff, right? And then while that's happening, Luffy and the princess are actually heading to the Sea Forest. And the reason why they're trying to go to the Sea Forest is because Princess Shirahoshi, she's actually trying to visit the grave of her mom, which is Queen OTOHIME, right? Because she hasn't been there in 10 years, because she's, she hasn't seen it in 10 years because she's been in the goddamn Shell Tower and shit. She feels fucking horrible for that, yo. Understandable. So as they're going, they actually see Luffy and everything on their way there. So they're like, hey, and they actually end up picking them up, and they actually go to the Sea Forest. And the thing is that Robin actually ends up going to the Sea Forest as well, right after she gets confronted by all these guards and everything trying to arrest her as well. But she, she clutches the fuck out of him, I'm saying? I'm like, that's my girl Rob, yo. Like clutching the fuck out of people, yo. But she gets on the goddamn bus and everything. She's headed to the Sea Forest as well. And now the other funny thing is that Frankie, he's actually already in the Sea Forest with Tom's relative and everything. And he's actually getting the ship coded. He's like, don't worry about it, I got it and everything. And Frankie's like, oh. So while that's happening, Zoro, right, is like just shitting on every human pirate that was fucking Hody's slave, right? In the palace. But one of them actually ends up opening the gate, and Hody and Dekken actually make their way in, right? And then when King Neptune sees Dekken, he's blaming him. He's like, because because they looked to see if Shirahoshi was there, and she wasn't there and everything. So he's blaming Dekken for fucking kidnapping Shirahoshi and stuff. And Dekken's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I ain't even seen the bitch. You know what I'm saying? It won't me. It won't me. And then Dekken's like, hold on. So you're telling me that she ain't here? Yo, he busts that 180. He is infatuated, son. He leaves on the fucking spot, yo. He ends up tossing this big ass piece of coral at her, and he ends up jumping on it and riding it to where she's going, yo. I was like, yo, this dude can't get enough of that mermaid goodness. I was like, yeah, let's go. Dekken wants to get up in them sugar balls bad. If not, he wants that ass dead. This is what it is. So after Dekken leaves, Nami ends up noticing the tattoo on Hody's arm, and she's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? She knows what the deal is now, right? And Hody starts talking about Arlong and how he looked up to Arlong, how his ambition just wiped the fucking dumbass smirks and grins off of humans' faces and everything. And then what happens is that Hody's like, you know what? He pretty much sets the tone. He rings the bell. The first round starting, yo. He grabs the goddamn wall where he's standing at. He's like, sharp grip. Yo, he just fucking palms that shit, son, and that shit just starts shaking. Everything starts fucking shaking and crumbling and cracking. I'm like, holy shit, this dude's grip is a motherfucker. He probably beat the shit out of his meat, yo. Just crazy. And then he breaks the goddamn wall and shit, right? The pillar and all the and then his water just starts fucking rushing in like crazy. So the palace is filling up with water. So the only humans in there, you know what I'm saying, the human pirates and also Zoro, Nami, you know what I'm saying, Usopp and everything. Brook's there too, but he ain't got to worry about not breathing underwater, you know what I'm saying? So like, oh shit, the water's rising. And then Hody starts throwing these water arrows at the unarmed, and he's throwing them at Zoro. But Zoro's just blocking them with ease, yo. Then he's dodging them, and he's got his eyes closed, just like, just dodging them like it ain't nothing. I'm like, what, son? You that nice with it, yo? I was like, okay, Zoro, don't do it to him like that, yo. You a monster, son. Show him what you trained for. And then Zoro gets close enough, yo, hits that one sword style, son, and then yo, he hits it with that sonic boom, bitch. That shit fucking throws an energy wave, son. That shit is cutting through the goddamn air, yo, causing a jet stream of mass proportion at this dude's ass, yo. And Hody just sees this shit, and he reacts calm as shit, yo. He grabs one of his subordinates and puts it in front of him. He's like, wait, no. And then he just makes his boy eat that shit. I was like, damn. That's fucked up, yo. Everybody looking at him like, holy shit, you really just did that? Hody was like, fuck out of here. I was like, damn, yo, this dude raw. So after that, Zoro tells Usopp and everybody, Usopp and Brook and everybody, it's just like, look, go ahead and untie everybody because we couldn't keep our end of the bargain. We couldn't, keep them all safe. Some of them got harmed, yo. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's what's up, Zoro. You know what's good, man. So all the water is still rising up and everything. Nami and Kami, they actually broke loose. They broke out and everything. And Nami actually wants to get to the sea forest because she wants to speak to Jinbei really bad because of the whole history she has with Arlong and stuff. And she noticed, you know what I'm saying, the tattoo on Hody and stuff. But that man, Zoro, stays behind, yo. He stays there to put in work on Hody, yo. To fight this dude underwater, yo. That man ain't never scared. Zoro to the death for me, yo. But then I was like, whoa, hold up, Zoro. Maybe you get a little bit ahead of yourself, yo. This is a fish man in the water fighting. I don't know about this dog, but that man Hody witnessed a beast, yo. He's like, okay, maybe I can have some fun. But meanwhile, Luffy in the princess being disguised in the shark, they're still picking up still picking up Sanji and Chopper and everything, and Hachi. And as they're picking her up, the shark actually he can't hold in the princess in her mouth no more. So he actually ends up spitting her out, and Princess Shirahoshi gets unveiled to everybody. Like, oh my God, they must have kidnapped the princess and all this shit, right? So Chopper's like, oh my God, Sanji, no, don't look behind you, because he's facing, like, she's over there and he's facing this way, right? And you know what I'm saying, that way. And Chopper's like, don't turn around. If you turn around, you could die if you see the amazing mermaid behind you, right? And Sanji's like, you know what? Some things are just worth dying for, yo. You know what I'm saying? He turns around, and Princess Shirahoshi just crying the whole time, right? He turns around, and he's like, oh my God, yo. And this dude turns into stone on the spot, yo, and Boa Hancock was nowhere to be found. This dude was awestruck to amazing proportions. So then these sea monster hunters actually surprise and capture Luffy and shit, and they got him all tied up and everything. And then here comes Decken flying in on this big ass piece of coral. And as he's flying in and shit, fucking Shirahoshi sees him, everybody sees him, and then he asks her to marry him again as he's flying in. And then she's like, you're not my type. And everybody's like, what? Is that the reason? It's not because this motherfucker is villainous, he's fucking mischievous, or nothing like that. It's because of your type of, well, okay. You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, well, alright then, if you ain't gonna marry me, you gonna die, I'm gonna put you to rest. So fucking, he's about to come in and actually attack Shirahoshi and everything. That man Luffy, yo, he's tied up. This man can't even move his arms, yo. He hits that fucking gear second, yo. He fucking jumps up in the air and just straight demolishes that coral that fucking Decken is flying in on. And he also used Haki to go ahead and just knock out all the innocent fucking civilians that was around him and shit that tied him up. So while he's in the air, yo, he fucking grabs Decken with his legs, yo. His arms are still tied up, son. He grabs him with his legs and slams the fuck out of this dude straight into the ground. Earth-shattering movements right there, yo. And then Princess Shirahoshi goes ahead and unties him and everything. And then they're about to get up out of there. But then out of nowhere, man, fucking Decken asked for that big-ass monk, goddamn Watasumi and shit, yo. His fucking road dog, that big-ass fisherman motherfucker that we seen before they got into Fishman Island. And he comes up out of the water and shit, and Luffy sees him like, what's good, son, what's good? And Watasumi's about to come and just stomp on his ass, about to bring in that haymaker, son. But Luffy hits that second gear, jumps up into the air, fucking no! Hits him with that jet pistol right in the fucking face. That big ass gargantuan slob motherfucker took it in the face, yo. Get fucking destroyed. Fucking broke his whole tooth up, yo. No dentist work can fucking fix that shit. After that, man, his ass fell right back into the water, yo. And then they went ahead and started heading towards the sea forest. So meanwhile, back at the palace, Zoro was still getting nice on Hody and shit. But you know what I'm saying, they battling in the water, right? So, Hody ends up fucking like bitch slapping Zoro and everything down to the ground, basically almost making him pass out and stuff, almost getting to that level right there. But then Hody comes fucking zooming at him, yo, thinking about he about to take him out. That man Zoro, yo, he straight fucking shits on him, son. Just like, it was just so graceful, son. And then hitting the pose afterwards, everybody was shocked, like, holy shit, man. Did this dude just really beat this dude underwater? Yes! Get fucking shitted on! And then after that, fucking Zoro starts making his way up to get some air, because you know what I'm saying, he's like, damn, I'm about to fucking suffocate and shit, I'm about to drown and everything. And then King Neptune is like, everybody, you know what I'm saying, hold on, I'm about to actually make a way for his army to go ahead and escape, because, you know, they're kind of getting overran by so many of these Fishman pirates. And then he goes ahead, he passes Usopp and Brook this coral that can go ahead and make air bubbles around their heads so that they won't drown. And Usopp and Brook actually don't really need it, like talking about, but Usopp uses it, and they're about to go ahead and give it to Zoro, but he ends up not being able to use it or whatever, and he tells them to hold on and stuff. And then that man Neptune gets nice, yo! He fucking does this shit, fucking ends up making this huge ass fucking current that just makes everyone just flow right out of the fucking palace doors and everything, straight out to the exit and all that shit. And then King Neptune's road dog, Ho, it's like this big ass goddamn whale and shit, calling us Ho, and I'm like, alright, you know what I'm saying? I guess you trusting your hoes today. But anyways, he tells them to go in and grab on to him so that they can go ahead and get out of here. And while that's happening, the henchmen of Hody, they actually give him like a steroid pill and everything, and it basically puts Hody back in the game, yo. Gets him geared up and ready to go. And then as they're about to be pulled by Ho, and while King Neptune's holding on to him and the Straw Hats are holding on to King Neptune, they're about to leave and shit. Next thing you know, yo, that shark grip right on King Neptune, son. Just holding him so he can't even go nowhere, yo. With one hand like it's nothing. Goddamn roid rage, son. Diesel is shit. And then everything's pretty much fucked up because fucking the whale fucking jets out of there and shit. Fucking Zoro was, since he don't got no air boy, he's pretty much like almost drowning and shit. And Usopp and Brook and everything just kind of, you know, stuck in a bad predicament, while Brook is completely out of it because, you know, he's a devil fruit user, and them in water, it just ain't a good deal, ain't a good mix. While this shit, so they're all in a bad predicament right there, and they end up getting captured. And while this is all happening, actually the Fishman pirates are all around the island just causing like mayhem, you know what I'm saying? And then Luffy and the others that actually left earlier, they actually end up getting to the sea forest. So Luffy ends up arriving at the sea forest. The princess goes ahead and pays respects to her mom's grave, and Luffy actually ends up meeting Jinbei. They meet Frankie at the Sunny, and actually Nami and Kami actually just arrive. And as they're talking to Jinbei actually is thankful for them for taking down Arlong for what he's done and stuff. And from then on, you know, Nami starts talking to Jinbei about, you know, her whole situation with Arlong, and Jinbei understands that, you know, the stuff that Arlong kind of put her through, and, you know, he feels sorry for that and stuff, but he feels that he needs to kind of, you know, tell the story and tell the tale so that they can exactly understand really why Arlong was the way he is, why the fishmen are the way they are towards humans. So Jinbei starts talking about the symbol that he actually has on his chest, which represents the Sun Pirates, which him, Arlong, and Fisher Tiger used to be a part of. And he actually breaks down their pretty much whole history. So let's go into this. So he starts talking about Fisher Tiger and Queen OTOHIME, and how 16 years ago, these two, they were really kind of like the leaders to like the evolution of pretty much like the Fishman people, and how they wanted to have a change somehow, and they didn't want the hate of their generation to become the hate of the younger generation. So Queen OTOHIME, you know, she's very valiant, you know what I'm saying? She's very loyal to her cause, and she's trying to get all these petitions ready so that they can show them to the world government so that, hey, we can one day hopefully live up under the real sun with humans equally. You know, she's trying to do this, and every day she's pretty much trying to go out there and get these petitions signed by everybody, but everyone's like, you know, they don't really care for humans, they know their reputation, and they're kind of really shying away from it. And what happens is that when Fisher Tiger actually frees the slaves from Savity, he actually ends up getting Arlong which at the time was still a fisherman pirate, and Jinbei, which actually was a soldier in the Royal Army at the time, to become one of the Sun Pirates. And what they did was that Fisher Tiger, he was like, look, we're going to use this emblem to go ahead and pretty much get rid of the slave logo, and this is going to be our shit right here. This, you know, the sun logo. Boom. Jinbei got on this chest like blat out, and that's what he was explaining to him, to the Straw Hats, about the emblem on his chest. Jinbei and Arlong, they look up to Fisher. You know, they really do. They call him Big Bro and all this stuff. They look up to him, and you know, he wanted to liberate his people, but he didn't necessarily want to kill humans. You know, like I said, he didn't want to spread that hate, you know, from his generation to the next and all this stuff, right? So one day, as they're sailing as the fishermen pirates and stuff, they end up running across this land where they pick up this little girl named Koala, and she actually, the people there are like, look, you know, we can't take her to her homeland, but we're willing to give you her so that y'all can take her to her, you know, to her home, her homeland stuff. And you know, at first, all the pirates, you know, like all his people, all the Fisher's people are kind of, you know, against it. They don't really care for humans whatsoever. But the reason why he said, yeah, okay, is because he sees this as a possible movement and get them to understand that not all humans are like that. So he goes ahead, he takes her on, and then, you know, they're kind of looking at her, staring at Koala, and she always has this big smile on her face. And the reason is because she's really scared as hell. Like, she's scared as shit. And she's constantly cleaning the deck. She's like, look, I'll clean. I won't even take a break. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I'm looking at her, I'm like, damn, man. And Arlong's like talking crap to her and stuff. Like, it was crazy. And it turns out that she was actually a slave also. So it's kind of like bred into her that she kind of feels that way and stuff. And, you know, Tiger actually comes up to her and everything. He's like, look, it's okay to cry. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to cry. You can cry. And then he ends up taking her, and he fucking brands her with the Sun Pirates logo and shit, and just throws her out there and everything. It's like, look, we're not like the celestial faggots. You know what I'm saying? And then over time, you know, they kind of grew together, and you know, they started, you know, mingling one another, liking one another, and she really became a part of the crew at a point. But the thing is, Arlong was still gangster. He still was just like, I ain't trying to hear it. Just is what it is. So eventually, the Sun Pirates with Koala, however you pronounce her name, they actually reach her homeland, her island, and Tiger, like, everybody's waving bye to her and stuff and everything, kind of showing that they really liked her and she was a human. So it kind of broke that kind of barrier, showing them that, hey, you know, maybe humans aren't that bad, right? So, and this is what, you know, Tiger was kind of preaching, how the younger generation, you know, shouldn't be brought up to hate fishermen. You know, they should be brought up to like them, and fishermen have to understand that. So he goes ahead and he drops her off himself, walks her there, and he drops her off and leaves her behind. And as he's leaving to go back to the ship, he actually gets fucking surrounded by Rear Admiral Strawberry and some Marines and shit. And your boy Tiger was shook, yo. He didn't know what to do. I was like, oh damn, man. Like, what's good with this? And then back on the ship, the Sun Pirate ship, man, yo, they start hearing gunshots. Like, oh, what the hell was that? And then they, you know, saying, of course, you know, they're thinking the worst. Like, oh, damn, Tiger's out there. We got to go help him. And then the next thing you know, you got other Marines coming in on their ships. So what happens is that Jinbei and a few end up heading towards Tiger to help him out, and Arlong ends up going ahead and trying to take over a Marine ship because their ship is getting really messed up. So Jinbei goes out there and he fucking handles that Rear Admiral, yo, just handles Strawberry like it ain't nothing, right? And it was like, damn. And it turns out that after that happened, they kind of seen Jinbei as a threat. They're like, look, this guy could be a really possible threat because this guy's really strong, really powerful. We need to do something about that. So they actually eventually ask him to become a warlord. But anyways, before that actually happens, they actually end up saving Tiger and stuff, and they bring him back to the ship that they actually ended up stealing from the Marines and stuff. And Tiger is fucked up, man. Like he lost a ton of blood and everything. And the thing is, like, he needs a certain blood type, and and Tiger is like, he's saying he's letting it all loose. He's pretty much telling him about everything, and he's like, look, and then they're trying to tell him that, like, they want to give him a blood transfusion, but with human blood, because they kind of basically have it accessible. And he's like, nah, fuck that shit, hell no, I do not want human blood within me. You know what I'm saying? There is no way I'm gonna live with their blood in me. And I was like, damn. And it goes to show you that, like, he hated humans, he did, but he saw past that for the future generation and other people, that things needed to change, but he couldn't, like, honestly, he really couldn't, like, stand them, and so he was like, nah, that's not happening. They were pleading with him to go ahead and make that happen, and just wasn't gonna go down like that. So what I'm saying, he starts breaking down, crying, that he actually tells them the truth about everything. And he actually told them that when he left originally, he was actually a slave, and he experienced that. And that's the main reason why he went back to go ahead and set free all the slaves from Savity and all the celestial dragons, because he experienced that. He knows how it is, he knows what the deal is. And that's crazy, man. And everybody was just falling, yo. And honestly, man, that shit hit me right here, son. I was just like, yo, man, this dude's a warrior, dog. And then eventually he passes away and stuff, and Jinbei actually ends up getting the invitation to be a warlord. And he actually talks to King Neptune and Queen OTOHIME about it, and he's like, hey, this could actually get us in good allegiance, a step closer to the humans and stuff like that, and the world government, all that. So he goes ahead and he accepts it and stuff. And from when that happens, Arlong is actually sent to Impel Down and stuff beforehand, and he's all amped up and shit. And fucking Jinbei, since he has that power now, he actually goes to Impel Down. He gets Arlong out, and him and Arlong kind of have this confrontation. And Arlong is still, like, completely against humans, whereas Jinbei kind of understands where Fisher was coming from and stuff, and Queen OTOHIME, and why they want this change, and see, like, what their true message was. So fucking Arlong tries to fucking battle Jinbei and shit. Yo, Jinbei just slapping this dude like it ain't nothing. I'm like, damn, at that time Jinbei was that much of a monster, yo. I was like, get fucking shit on Arlong, yo. I was like, okay. And then he ends up, like, he could have killed him, but he was just like, you know what, he's still my brother, yada yada, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna let him be. So Arlong goes ahead and leaves, and then he's like, look, I'm gonna carry on the Fishman pirates and stuff. And then that's when he eventually runs in, does his whole thing that we seen previously with all the shit and Nami and all that. And Jinbei goes on his way and everything, and then it just is what it is. But look, I gotta say this real quick about Arlong and how he got arrested and sent to Impel Down and stuff. He actually went back to the island and shit, where they dropped out Koala because they see some type of vengeful shit, right? So he goes there and shit, and then the Marines are still there, and they're like, what the fuck are they coming back here for? They fucking idiots. And your boy Kizaru is there. They're still the same OG. They're chilling this out, yo. He fucking waxes Arlong, yo. Straight shitted on him like it was nothing. I was just like, damn. Anyways, I thought that shit was funny. And also the thing about Tiger is that he didn't want them to tell anybody anything. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to keep it all low key, and that's why everybody thinks like, you know, that the humans wouldn't give a transfusion to him because, you know, because he was a fishman or whatever. But anyways, we go ahead and see what Queen OTOHIME is up to, right? And she's still grinding, son. She still got her grind on. She's still getting petitions and everything. She's teaching them Fishman was right and was wrong. She's teaching the younger generation about the topside world, yo. You know what I'm saying? Mother Teresa, yo. She was grinding so hard. She was so pure, son. Damn. But all of a sudden, the ambitions crumbled, yo, right in front of her face. When all those petitions that she did get signed by everybody actually withdrew them and shit, and she was like, what the fuck, yo? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just crushed her. You know what I'm saying? At the time, it crushed her. And then she got drunk, yo. She got on the fucking loudspeaker talking to everybody in the island, just putting them on blast, yo. Just gave this beastly speech, yo. That Mother Teresa speech, son. And everything, just letting them know, look, we can't have this for the younger generation, yo. Just is what it is. I was like, okay. But, you know, that still don't stop OTOHIME. You know what I'm saying? It don't stop Queen OTOHIME, right? So pretty much what happens is that since Jinbei became a warlord, it pretty much granted everybody else that was following him, the Sun Pirates, amnesty. So they wouldn't like pursue them or nothing at Fishman Island or anything. So they were safe, right? So pretty much one day, this goddamn celestial dragon, right? This motherfucker, you know, he was pissed. He was pissed off about Tiger fucking freeing the slaves and everything. And he wanted his goddamn slaves back. And this nigga was fucking ugly as shit. Ugly as dog shit, son. I mean, just fucking nasty in the face, yo. Even his pops that he was talking to, just fucking straight gorilla in the face. Ugly as a motherfucker, right? He's like, I want my slaves and everything. He's like, well, go get them. You know what I'm saying? So he ends up going to Fishman Island. And then when he gets there, like, his ship is all fucked up from trying to get there and everything. And he's all messed up. You know, he pretty much needs a medic and shit. And then the people are like, oh, it's a human. It's a human. It's a celestial dragon. Like, oh shit. And everybody's looking at him like, okay, we don't really know what to do, right? So then the slaves that he actually had can come up to him. They come up to him with guns and shit, like just about to pretty much do him in. And everybody's like, hold on, I don't know if we could do this. And then the slaves were like, look, the guys that used to be slaves were like, look, no one will know anything if we put this dude in. If we put him 6 feet under, yo, in this case, what 10,000 feet under, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one will even fucking know, son. And people are like, yeah, based on him, son, do it. And then everybody started supporting him and shit, right? So these fucking fishmen motherfuckers that used to be slaves to the celestial dragon, they're actually about to kill him. And as soon as they're about to pull the trigger, Queen OTOHIME comes up in there, yo, bam, fucking saves the goddamn celestial dragon and shit. The bullet fucking grazes her in the arm and shit, and they're like, oh shit, the Queen OTOHIME and everything. And then they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get out of the way. Like, you don't know what he did to us. Yada yada, all this shit. And the Queen's like, look, I feel you. I know your pain. I know what you're talking about. But this kid's watching. You can't put your disgust for humans in these kids like that. It ain't right. Motherfucking Teresa, yo. Shit, yo. I was like, yo, man. You that shit right there. Man, after that happens, yo, the goddamn, they convinced them. They actually end up dropping their weapons and stuff. You know, and then the Celestial Dragon actually goes for his gun. And he actually fucking has OTOHIME by, you know, so he's got her captured and everything. Got her at gunpoint. And then by that time, the princes get there, like Fukaboshi and everybody. And also Shirahoshi is there. Princess Shirahoshi, and then she sees what's happening, and then she's like scared out of her fucking mind, so she just gives out this huge fucking yell, yo. She's like, Ma! Then when she does that shit, everything starts shaking and fucking trembling and shit, yo. And then out of nowhere, these huge goddamn fucking sea kings just come out of there, and they're just staring at him, just looking at him. I was like, oh shit. What the fuck is going on, yo? And the celestial dragon gets shook as hell. He fucking drops and everything. And then the fucking Sea Kings, they end up fucking leaving and shit. After that, after she gets done crying and yelling all this shit, and Jinbei and everybody's like, hold on, what the fuck's happening? And Jinbei's like, hold on, that's not a fucking coincidence, yo. What the fuck? And then they look at Shirahoshi like, yo, don't tell me that you're, you know what I'm saying? And then we come to find out that Shirahoshi, she actually has a power that's given to one of their descendants every so often that can have the power to talk to the actual fucking Sea Kings and shit. And Dekken, that's the main reason why he wants to fucking be with her, because he was there when that happened, and he's like, you know what, if I had that power, I could pretty much do what the fuck I want to do, and I would rule this bitch. So that's why he's so infatuated with her and wants to marry him or die. But the thing about it is that at the time, Shirahoshi's like young as shit, and Dekken's like, damn, I'm not really into all that, you know what I'm saying? So his men actually tell him about the Tamate box that actually is in the palace, and it's supposed to be rumored to have like this mystical power that can actually make someone age. So they would use it to make her age so that she would become, you know, like more of an adult and everything, to a banging ass mermaid, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, okay, let's do this, you know? But anyways, OTOHIME, she actually gets her word out to everybody. They kind of understand. They actually open their ears, hear her, what she's saying, and then she actually goes ahead and you know, is merciful to the celestial dragon, of course, because it's Mother Teresa, you know what I'm saying? And she actually takes him in. They patch him up and everything, and they also give him a ship and stuff and a crew so that he can actually leave. So as they do this, everybody's like, oh my god, I can't believe this is going on. They actually patch him up and stuff, and then as he's leaving, she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go with him. You know, and then Neptune's like, hold on, I don't know, you don't think you should go with this guy, you know, let me go, let someone else go, not you. But she wanted to send a message, that's why she wanted to go. But you know what I'm saying, because she was like, look, I'm small, I'm frail, you know what I'm saying, like, it would mean more, it would be a better image if I went, except for someone else. I was like, yo, you a monster, son! So she ends up leaving and shit, right? A week passes by, okay? And everybody's kind of wondering if she's gonna be safe and everything, because she went with a celestial dragon and all this stuff. And then one day, out of nowhere, a week later, she comes in, pulls into port, and she's waving, everybody's getting happy and stuff, like, ah! And then she comes in there with pretty much good news, great news for her. She gets this document from them saying that, hey, you know what, if you get enough people to sign a petition, we're going to go ahead and pretty much move things forward the way that she really wants them to be, so it's possible that they can actually, you know, live with humans eventually. And at first it doesn't seem like everybody really is down for it, but then there's this big uproar, and come to find out that her diligent beastliness, yo, the hard fucking work that she put into it paid off, yo, fucking Mother Teresa, son. She starts crying, breaking down, yo, everybody is signing, yo. They gotta fill up these huge containers of nothing but all these petitions and shit, man. And I was just like I was happy as shit at that point. I was like, there you go, yo. You worked hard as hell for that shit, yo. Put in work. Many ways to put in work. And then all of a sudden, as everybody's putting in all these petitions into these big containers, out of nowhere, they catch on fire. And it's like, oh shit, You know what I'm saying? And then everybody's going after the queen and everything, trying to save her. She's like, don't worry about me. It's the petitions that we gotta worry about. Save those. So she's fucking getting in there. She's fucking getting burned and shit, saving them. I'm like, god damn, yo. And then the men, the fucking army men and shit, the soldiers are getting there like, all right, get the petitions, get the papers and shit. So everybody's trying to save them and everything. And then out of nowhere, BAM! Yo, how the fuck you gonna snipe the female Gandhi, son? How you gonna do that? Man, she gets sniped, yo, and I was like, what? And she falls back. I was like, yo, I am not feeling this right now, bro. Like, this shit is not cool. And everybody's, yo, Jinbei's like, where the shot come from? Where the shot come from? Make sure the royal family's safe and everything. Yo, man, come to find out that they go up there and they find out that it was actually a human that made the shot and shit. And Jinbei's like, hold up, it's Jinbei and Hody up there and shit. And Jinbei's like, hey, keep this under wraps. This is not a good thing. You know, all that work that she put into it, we shouldn't just disclose this as being a human that shot him. Like, let's hide the body and shit. Hody's like, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, hell nah. We're gonna tell him. And Jinbei's like, don't do it. He goes up there, he holds up the body, and he's like, a human shot, a human assassinated the queen. Human assassinated Queen OTOHIME. And everybody is fucking floored, Joe. And while this is happening, man, Shirahoshi is crying her eyes out, bro. And then you just see OTOHIME kind of try to reach for her daughter. And, she's like, keep it together, you know what I'm saying? Don't break. And next thing you know, she tells her brothers to always look after her and everything. And she tells her about her power and, and that she can't lose it or lose that control. And she starts crying and losing it after seeing her. And everything starts shaking once again, going crazy, even worse than before, yo. And everybody's, oh shit, what the hell's going on, man? And then two of the brothers, Mom Boshi and ReUpload, come up to her and they start playing around and stuff. They're crying at the same time, but they're trying to lighten her mood, trying to get her to understand, trying to get her to stop crying and settle down a little bit. But the royal guards look at him like, why are you acting like that? You know what I'm saying? This is not the right time to be acting like that. Like, get a hold of yourself. But they don't understand the situation. And then they actually end up getting Shirahoshi to calm down and stuff, man. And they actually come together, the Princess Shirahoshi, the brother, sister, and OTOHIME come together. They have their pretty much last moment, and she gives them her final wish, saying, no matter who does this, do not get angry at them on my behalf and stuff. Yo, that shit was beautiful, bro. Like, I'm sorry, yo. Fucking Mother Teresa, yo, how you do that shit, yo? A heart pure of gold, son. Like, I thought that shit was amazing. That shit hit me right here, son. I was like, yo, man. Nothing tops that shit. Nothing tops that shit. That shit was priceless. She went hard in her own way. Shit was magnificent, man. Definitely a soldier for the people. Definitely. But let's go. King puts himself in that big ass hard shell tower, man, and he's going off, unleashing all his anger, bro. And he's like, you know what? You don't want me out of here right now, because I'll unleash some fucking furious rage on motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. And like, he's just not feeling it. He's crying and shit. And he's like, man, why does somebody so beautiful, so innocent have to die when someone like me that's been through wars and been slaying humans and all this stuff from my own accord and all this crap is still living? Does it seem right? And I'm like, man, like, this shit's crazy, yo. Then a little time passes and stuff, and they're actually getting these love letters from Dekken to Shirahoshi, and they're reading them, and they're like, you know what, we gotta put Shirahoshi on lockdown and everything, and they think there might be a conspirator out there and stuff. So they're actually having the funeral, and the King Neptune has his sons and his daughters not attend the funeral because they don't know, possibly what could happen. And then at the funeral, everybody's there and everything. They got that beautiful setup there, man, with Queen OTOHIME up there, yo. And I'm just like, God damn, yo. And then Fukaboshi gets up there. Prince Fukaboshi gets up there. He sends a message to everybody. He's like, look, I understand everybody's grieving. I understand what's going on here. But we gave our word to her. We gave our promise, and we are going to continue her mission. So hopefully, when your sadness goes away, when your anger for humans could subside eventually someday, we are going to continue her mission to one day hopefully be underneath the sun. I was like, that's what I'm talking about, son. Her fucking passion and dream lives on within them. That's what's good, man. That shit was gorgeous. You know what? Let's go. And then from there, it pretty much brings you back to the present time, and Jinbei, he still feels responsible for what Arlong did to Nami. He's asking her for forgiveness and stuff, and Nami says, you know what, it's okay. The only person I hate is Arlong. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, you know what, I don't deserve such kind words and stuff. And everything's cool at this point with them. Luffy's looking serious as hell and shit, and they go up to Luffy and they kind of touch him, but this motherfucker just falls and keels over and shit because he's been fucking sleeping the whole time. Luffy, he don't pay attention to shit. You know what I'm saying? So back at the palace, actually, they got it on lockdown and stuff, and Hody actually comes over to live stream, and he pretty much tells everybody what's going on. And this is when everybody's like, oh shit, what's going on here? That the Fishman Pirates are taking over the palace, and also they got Zoro, Brook, and Usopp just hammed up and shit. They got them in this cell, in this room where they're filling up water and stuff, and they send out a message to the rest of the Straw Hats like, hey, we're gonna execute the King Neptune in 3 hours, and also, what are you gonna do? You gonna help the king, or you gonna save your boys? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So at that point, Luffy's like, you know what? I gotta go. I gotta save my friends. And Jinbei's getting in the way, hold up, Luffy, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And then Luffy's getting heated. It's like, what the hell's going on? Let me go. Let me go. You know what I'm saying? And then they start getting into it. And then Luffy runs for the goddamn Princess Shirahoshi's pet shark, telling him to take her to the palace and everything. Jinbei gets in front of him, yo, and hits him with that shark brick fist, yo! Says fucking Luffy fucking flying, son! Dude, I was like, damn, Luffy, you get handled like that? Luffy gets up like, what the fuck, yo? And he's just like, yo, okay. He hits that second gear, son, and fucking jet stamps the fuck out of Jinbei, yo. But Jinbei blocked that shit nice and smooth. He's like, is this the best you got after those 2 years? I was like, okay, this man Jinbei is a monster. And then Robin comes out of nowhere. She's walking out of the woods as Jinbei and Luffy are charging at each other, and she's like, enough. And then they're like, move out of the way. And then Sanji, he's all fucking infatuated. He comes in and he's like, Robin, you know what I'm saying, trying to save her or whatever. And then they end up punching, both of them end up punching Sanji and each other, and they all fall the fuck out. So meanwhile, the princes are actually handling stuff throughout Fishman Island, taking down some Fishman pirates and stuff, trying to make their way to the palace. But Hody, he's like, you know what, let's make our way to the plaza where they're actually going to be executing King Neptune. And he's fucking taking all these goddamn steroid pills. Goddamn, so like I said, when that roid rage goes, yo, I do not want to be around this dude, yo. But anyways, he starts heading towards there. And also, Daruma, this fucking big mouth fucking shark teeth fucking Kermit the Frog wannabe motherfucker and shit. Like, he's fucking taking down the whole candy shop. Yeah, Big Mom shit. He's taking down the whole thing, just chomping the whole thing down. People are like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Oh shit, you know what I'm saying? So that shit is fucked up. Cause nobody takes down the fucking candy shop, son. Motherfucker, I say nobody, yo. Oh shit. But anyways, Hody starts fucking going crazy though. Like, he's still on his way, but this dude's like, he's fucking like, that shit, them goddamn steroid pills, that goddamn drug and shit is going throughout all his body, coursing through his blood, his veins and shit, his fucking bones, yo. And he's looking like he's fucking losing it. But this motherfucker turns into a monster, yo. Like, his hair turns all fucking white, his skin gets even fucking paler and shit, and he gets fucking diesel as a bitch. And at the same time, he's fucking like going over all these fishman pirates that are fighting the goddamn that are subject to all like the royal army and stuff, got them hammed up and shit. And then he just does like this water shit, son, this water shot. He just drops one on them, yo, and this shit is like launching fucking rocket launchers at their asses and shit. This shit just starts blowing up everything. I'm like, God damn, this motherfucker put it on him bad. But anyways, there's still, he ends up eventually getting to the plaza where they're actually going to be executing King Neptune, and then it actually cuts to showing Jinbei leaving to go to actually to where they're going to be to the execution stage. And at the time, I'm like, okay, where is Luffy? What's going on here? Where's Luffy with everybody else? So Hody's there, and with his crew and everything, and his captains and all this stuff are there at the execution spot and everything. And this one soldier for the Royal Army, you know what I'm saying, he's like, you know, I'm gonna see what I can do. So he tries to fucking attack Hody, yo, and then he hits him with this vicious ass water shot, yo. He's like, bing! That shit goes straight through him, dude, yo, and that shit fucking goes all the way miles away, just ripping through fucking mountains and canyons and pillars and just blowing up everything on its fucking path, all the way to the goddamn mermaid grove and shit. I was like, goddamn, that is a hell of a water shot right there, yo. And then eventually the princes get there. And then they get into their confrontation, talking about, Hody, what are you doing and everything. And Hody's talking about, hey, look, what you're doing is meaningless, you know what I'm saying? What we're trying to do is righteous and shit. And then the princes, they go ahead, like, alright, this is round 2, let's go. And then they actually shit on these fucking sea monsters and shit. And then everybody is around this whole thing on top of the cliff, all the civilians and stuff. And they're like, wow, the princes are so strong. Yeah, yeah, you know, and everything. And because they see that fucking Hody's the goddamn enemy and shit. And Hody's like, you think you're something because you beat them? And then, man, his fucking lieutenants, so his captains, his right-hand man come out and just straight shit on him like it's nothing, yo. I was like, damn, y'all got y'all fucking asses whooped. And then he ends up strapping them up along with King Neptune. So they end up actually leading Shirahoshi there and stuff. With Jinbei, and they're actually strapped up and shit. They're all tied up and rope and everything. And Hody's actually assembled 100,000 fishman pirates that he's been keeping just holding down in the Fishman district. And what happens from there is that badass mermaid, that Shirley chick, that got the psychic powers and everything, she's there and she's like, Hody, I'm sorry, but it ain't gonna be you that's gonna be doing the undoing of Fishman Island. It's gonna be Luffy. It's gonna be the Straw Hat. And Hody's like, what is he gonna do and all this shit? So this dude, like, he is pissed. So he one-shots the fuck out of her, yo, going straight through her fucking ovaries and shit. I was like, damn, and she's out for the count and shit. She's hurting bad as a bitch. People trying to gather around to help her out and everything. Hody comes out and he says exactly what we all knew from the beginning. That his goddamn Will Smith, Shark Tale, Finding Nemo, Free Willy, bitch made candy ass, fucking killed Queen OTOHIME, son! How you doing that, yo? How you doing that, yo? Yo, bitch ass. Yo, I hope so. Oh my god, I can't wait till my boy put in work on you. But let's go. So everybody there, from the civilians to the fishermen pirates to the army, everybody there hears that shit, man. And this shit echoes for an eternity. So everybody knows the truth now. So, and then after that, Hody starts taunting Shirahoshi, talking about, yeah, I'm standing right in front of you. I'm the one that killed your mom. I killed the queen. He's got, like, the King Neptune up there with his sons and all this stuff, just letting it loose like it ain't nothing. Balls to the wall. And Shirahoshi's like, I already knew. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And then meanwhile, goddamn Decken is actually back down there. He's back on the in the Fishman district and shit. And this motherfucker's still ass hurt and everything over the whole situation, going crazy as a bitch. He actually ends up throwing the Noah at Shirahoshi because he's so fucking crazy, yo. And mind you, the Noah is gargantuous. This shit is about like this half the size of Fishman Island or some shit. This shit is fucking huge. Alright? So he throws this shit at her. And then it cuts back to them talking, and it actually comes out to be that Magallo actually, I'm not sure I pronounced her pet shark's name. He actually told her, because at the time he was actually property of the Royal Army, and he actually saw what Hody did, and she knew it the whole time. But the reason why she didn't tell anybody is because of that promise that was made from her mom to her and to her brothers and shit. And it was the last promise that she ever made. So that's the only reason why she kept it in. And you know, Hody was like, "Are you crazy, stupid? Like, if you would have said something, this shit wouldn't be happening right now." So he's like, "Thank you for your fucking stupidity." You know what I'm saying? But Jinbei and everybody else is like, you know what? No, don't listen to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very honorable for what you did. You know, like, for you being able to take in all of that for as long as you were in there and you knew it and everything. Like, you know, it takes a bigger person to do that shit. So they actually were commending her and stuff. So what happens from there is Hody starts throwing these goddamn shark arrows at the princes and King Neptune and everything. Then he eventually gets to the point he was like, you know what, forget this. I'm gonna do this right now. He's like, you know what, give me a sword. He fucking takes King Neptune's head, puts it on the ground, and he's winded up and shit. And as he's winding up, as he's winding up, Princess Shirahoshi, she's like, Luffy, please save my father. You know what I'm saying? All you hear is and the fucking shark, you can see the shark's mouth fucking just like going crazy, and I'm like, oh shit, Luffy's in there. And then Hody's about to come down like this and shit, and then Luffy just busts loose, yo, right in that second gear and stomps this dude hard as shit. This motherfucker flies into the goddamn mountains. No, nothing but debris and ashes just everywhere. I was like, holy shit, let's go. This shit was beast. And then what happened is that pretty much they cut back and kind of showed what their idea was. Jinbei was like, you know what, I think it's important that we come up with a plan. That's why he was trying to stop him from just rushing in there. They came up with a plan so that they can be there to stop the execution and save Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp that were actually in the palace. And what's funny is that by the time they got to the palace, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp, Zoro, Brook, and Usopp were actually out of the cage already, and they were actually at the entrance already, because that goddamn starfish, not a mercy, was actually Papag. He was actually in the palace already, and Brook has this ability now where he can actually pretty much send out his soul from his body and kind of like ask for some assistance or whatever, or see stuff and everything. So he made contact with him to actually get Zoro his swords, and they were actually to get there. So by the time the other Straw Hats went there to save them, all they had to do was pretty much get them from the gate, and they were good to go. But Jinbei saw it very important that Luffy would become the hero. so that people could see, it would help the Fishman Island people to actually see humans in a better light. In a better light. And at first, Luffy was kind of reluctant about it. He's like, I don't want to be a hero and all shit. That means I have to share my meat. You know what I'm saying? Because he always thinking about food. And Jinbei was like, you can have all the meat in the world. Like, it's not about that and all this shit. So he's relating heroes with sharing meat. And goddamn Zoro's relating hero with sharing sake and all this shit. Sake and all this shit. That ain't it. You know what I'm saying? So Luffy goes ahead and agrees with it and stuff, and then that's pretty much why they were there like that. And it turns out that Nami, she actually used her Mirage Tempo and stuff. She actually stole the keys, and they actually uncuffed the princes and the King Neptune, and they actually had the letter also that Queen OTOHIME had from the Celestial Dragons, and actually Robin is the one that actually stole the keys, though. That's right. And Usopp was there, and Frankie's coming in on the Sunny, blasting them with the cannon and shit, making way. And then here comes also Sanji and the rest of the crew, so everybody's there. So Hody ends up getting up from his fucking dirt nap and shit. And this whole time I'm like, yo, that's right, yo, motherfucking straw hats and shit. Hody fucking dusted himself off and everything. Everybody's like, are you friend or foe? And Luffy's like, just posing with the squad and shit. Like, hey, you gotta make up your mind for yourselves, you know? And then Hody gets up there and he starts talking shit about Jinbei and about Luffy and how about like he's being friends with humans and all this shit, and he can't stand humans. And he said that he's gonna go topside and start fucking murdering kings and all this shit. And honestly, at that point, I was like, you know what? If I was Luffy, I'd be like, alright, I'll meet you up there. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna run into my man Kizaru. Let him shit on your chest. So now it's 100,000 fishermen pirates gathered, all in there, right? Versus the Straw Hats and Jinbei and everything. And Luffy's like, you know what? I got this. He walks into the middle of a crowd of them, busts out that Conqueror Haki, yo, and fucking clears 50,000 of them. Cuts them in half instantly, yo. And then everybody else is like, you know what I'm saying? And then Zoro looks at him and is like, you know what? That's what I needed to see from my captain. Or he needed to step the fuck down. Beast! This is what it is. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then they start handling everybody. Frankie's getting nice. Usopp is getting nice. You know what I'm saying? With his green stars and everything. Robin is clutching the hell out of motherfuckers. Nami is getting nice with her tempos and everything. Brook is slicing and dicing cats up. And of course, Zombie is slicing them up too. And that man Sanji is kicking them the fuck to the ground, Joe. Fucking Hody sends a goddamn water shot at Shirahoshi and shit, trying to take her out, but your boy Jinbei hit him with that fishman karate, son, and then stops that shit with ease, yo. And then he's like, he looks at Hody and says, yo, your shit is sloppy, son. And then Zoro hits him with this cyclone of just beastliness, yo. And this cyclone just cutting them all up, and this shit is just never ending. And this man Sanji, he's getting surrounded, but he does that goddamn CP9 moonwalk, yo, and he starts fucking stepping in the air and shit, cause he learned that from being on that goddamn island with all those fake ass bitches, yo. And then motherfucking Sanji keeps going up because there's more fishermen going after Shirahoshi and shit. And then he fucking Diablo Jinbei's the fuck out of him, son. Just like, yeah, yo, just taking them out, yo. Machine gun rap, son. Taking them out. Fucking Robin is creating these huge ass legs, just stomping on cats. You got Frankie up in the Sunny with goddamn Usopp and Nami and shit and Chopper. Frankie comes out with a goddamn on a motorcycle, pimped out and shit. And then everybody else come out of the Sunny in this pimped out tank, just shitting on everybody, yo. I'm just like, damn, they just straight running shit, and everybody's like, oh my god, they're so powerful, they can beat Hody, they can beat Hody, and they start cheering them on and shit. And at this point, Hody goes ahead, you know what, bring the Kraken, yo. that motherfucking same cracking, the big ass octopus, yo, he comes off the fucking mountainside into everywhere, yo, and then he goes ahead and goes straight for Shirahoshi and starts going around her and shit about to fuck her ass up. But Luffy's like, hold on, like, that's my friend, we met him before and everything. So he pretty much gets her to remember, hey, it's me, you know what I'm saying? And then he sees him as a friend and stuff. But the thing is that Hody is actually threatening the goddamn Kraken, because he was like, hey, we can go to other pole and, you know, and put some hurting on your brother and all this stuff. And then Luffy's like, you know what, don't worry about it, protect Shirahoshi, I'll protect him too, you know what I'm saying? Then the Kraken's like, alright, cool, you know, and then he's around Shirahoshi and stuff and protecting her. I was like, there you go. The next thing you know, Nami, Usopp, and Chopper, they're in the tank and shit, and they fall into this sinkhole that was created by Daruma, that fucking Kermit the Frog fucking digging hole motherfucker, right? Like, they fall into a hole with them, and then Frankie sees it, and he's like, what happened? And he's coming over there, he's fucking driving fast as shit, and he goes straight into the goddamn hole too. They're like, look, everybody's looking at him like, you fucking stupid, what the fuck's going on? And then fucking they get out of there, and then fucking Frankie just gets nasty, yo. This shit is on some Voltron shit, yo, some Power Rangers shit. He brings the goddamn tank and the fucking motorcycle together and shit, and forms this big ass goddamn robot and starts shitting on him, yo. And Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper are going crazy over, like, oh, it's so cool, it's so cool. But Nami's like, what's cool about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing. But anyways, while Hody is still trying to, like, threaten the Kraken and shit, Luffy is just mean mugging, yo, just walking up to him slowly. Like, man, you ain't gonna hurt nobody, yo. And then these two motherfuckers come out of nowhere, son, and try to come at Luffy. But then Zoro and Sanji come and intercept him, like, yeah, like, you ain't touching our captain. You know what I'm saying? You gotta deal with us. And Luffy don't even flinch to that shit. He just keep walking. Just keep walking, yo. And then these motherfuckers in front of him, man, this man Luffy get into that fucking gear second, yo. This man moves so fast, disappear, reappear right in front of his fucking face, and then shits on him. Sends him flying once again. Son, don't you understand? Luffy is taking you to flight school. Fucking shitted on. Meanwhile, everybody else is still putting in work. That man Usopp is fucking Venus flytrapping the fuck out of everybody. And Chopper, he's getting nice because Usopp seen him, and fucking Chopper fucking looked like he went crazy again. Like he went to that limit that he didn't need to go no more, that big ass fucking monster. And Usopp was like, yo, you didn't need to, he was like, oh shit, like Chopper, what the hell happened? You didn't need to do that. And Chopper's like, hey, you know, I'm good. You know, I only need the rumble ball for one of my joints now. All this other stuff, all my other transformations, I'm good. So he's just smashing dudes too. Then at that point, everybody starts noticing something. They're looking out towards the rest of Fishman Island, and they see the Noah coming, and everybody's distracted, like, oh my god, the Noah's coming. Why the hell's the Noah here? And all this shit. And then the next thing you know, fucking Hody gets up, and he's right up on Luffy and shit, right? And then he fucking comes up on him like this, yo. You know what I'm saying? And blasts his fucking Luffy shit back. But that no, that shit fucking goes, his head goes all the way back, yo. Like a goddamn rubber band, son. And then he's just cheesing the whole time, yo. He put that ornament shit on his forehead. And then he's about to whip that shit back at him. Hody brings his fucking steel goddamn shell team up there and shit. His head is like, yeah! Fucking cracks and breaks that shit. Next thing you know, goddamn Hody tries to kick him, and then that man Luffy put that armament shit on his arm, and he's like, yeah! Yo, he blocks the fuck out of that shit. And then he fucking armors his leg and shit, puts that armament on his leg, and smashes the shit out of fucking Hody's leg, yo. And then fucking Hody's fucking struggling to get up and shit. Then he starts just blazing a whole bunch of goddamn shark arrows at Luffy. But Luffy just like, what? This Bob and Weaver like, it ain't nothing. That shit ain't nothing, boy. You know you messing with the straw hat, baby. He dashes forward, puts that goddamn bullet punch armament on his shit, and then then he fucking bullet pushes him in the fucking liver, yo. Yes. This motherfucker flies back into the mountain, yo. Then he might as well just put a goddamn mat there with a door, because that is his home now. His home is that goddamn mountain. For how many times he fucking smashed his ass into that shit, all you see is fucking dust cloud explosions, rubble, get shitted on. My boy Luffy put in work, but let's go. So at this point, the Noah is pretty much right above them and shit, and they figure out, and then Shirahoshi figure out that it's actually been like thrown at her from Dekken and everything. So she's fucking goes up there to actually get it from pushing down on the boat, because if that bubble pops, yo, that's it. Fishman Island's pretty much being destroyed. Fucking Watasumi, that goddamn big ass monk motherfucker, Fishman Monk, he comes crashing down into the party and shit. He's like, hey, I dropped, come get me. And Dekken's like, man, fuck that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, you know? And then as Shirahoshi's doing that, Dekken's looking at her. He's like, oh, you're the ideal wife. Oh, you're so beautiful. If you're not gonna marry me, you should die now while you're still beautiful, so you can live in my memories forever and shit. I'm like, this dude crazy as shit. Like, goddamn, yo. And then he fucking takes a knife and throws it at her ass, yo. And then it fucking hits her in the arm and shit. And she starts bleeding and everything. But she's like, you know what? I gotta get the hell away from here. So she starts speeding off in the opposite direction, trying to get the Noah to leave. And as she leaves, the Noah follows right behind her. And this whole time, Hody actually seen what Dekken was doing. So he's like, you know what, this dude was, you know, he tried to pull a fast one on me and stuff. You know, Dekken, that shit was going to his head. He was acting crazy and all that shit. So, like, he was like, you know what, he tried to pull a fast one over me, try to betray me and everything. So Hody goes ahead, but he sees it as a chance that he can actually utilize what he's doing. So Hody jumps, he goes ahead, he jumps onto one of the anchor chains that was a part of the Noah and shit. And Luffy and everybody see him leaving, like, oh damn. So everybody's still fighting and stuff, and then your man Luffy actually like, dang, I gotta go after Hody. So he actually gets Sanji's help to actually get up there to the chain, and Sanji actually helps him propel him to get onto the chain as well. And then you have civilians trying to help slow down the Noah a little bit so that it won't fully catch up to the princess. And then fucking Hody goes ahead and starts shitting on them. You got Jinbei and Sanji fighting Watasumi now and shit. Like, all hell's breaking loose. Everybody's getting nice right now, okay? And then at the same time, Yuzu, I think that's his name, the dude, the octopus motherfucker that's got all the fucking 8 goddamn blades and shit, like, he's getting drunk and shit, and he gets to a point where he fucking eats a whole bunch of goddamn steroid pills, and then, like, his hair changes, he turns into like another Hody and shit, yo, fucking just roid raging, son. And then he fucking starts going out, just cutting everybody up. Then he's looking for the straw hats. He runs across goddamn Nami, and before he can actually get to Nami, he's like, oh, I found one. Fucking goddamn Zoro just comes, yeah, blocks that shit like a monster, yo. And then they start going at it. But anyways, Princess Shirahoshi, she actually makes it to the entrance of Fishman Island, and then she starts going up outside so that the Noah gets away from Fishman Island. So she's going up, straight up and shit. And by that time, the princes actually get out there, and they're trying to help Luffy. And Jinbei, before Sanji propelled him up to the Noah, he actually gave him a coral that would actually give him air so he could put the bubble around his head. But a little bit before they actually get there, Hody and goddamn Luffy are actually in the water and shit before the princes actually get there to help Luffy out. And you know, Hody's talking mad shit to him. He starts throwing these shark arrows at Luffy. They go ahead and pop his bubble and shit that he was in, and then Luffy is pretty much rendered useless at that point. And he's like, you know, he's in the water, he's getting weak, he can't even move pretty much, he's drowning. And then Hody's like, he would never rule the sea, you're a human, and all this crap, basically just leave him alone and shit. And then the next thing you know, that's when the princes come and help him out, you know what I'm saying, your boy Fuka yo, just holding it down, son. They do their thing. Meanwhile, Decken is still on the Noah, and he's on a certain area that actually has air and shit, and he can see her. He offers her one time, he asks her one more time if she's gonna marry him, right? And then she refuses. He fucking takes a goddamn knife and throws it at her one more time, yo. And then your boy Mamboshi and your boy ReUpload say Shirahoshi, yo. And then we cut back to Luffy being carried by Fukaboshi. Get go, yo. We got all the Yoshis. All we need is Yoshi and Mario now. We good. So now, fucking Hody is actually chasing Luffy and Fukaboshi, right? Chasing them, and they're like going up to the front of the goddamn of the Noah, because the Noah's going straight up after Shirahoshi. So they're actually swimming up and they're being chased by goddamn Hody, but Hody ends up actually fucking like jetting right fucking past them and shit. And they're like, you know what, we're not going to be able to catch him and everything. So Fukaboshi actually stops. Luffy's like, what's going on? What are you doing? We gotta hurry up. Because, you know, they were trying to get to the front of the ship because they figured that Decken would have an area there, since he's a devil fruit user. He can't be in the water like that. So he needs to be able to have some air there so he can get there and possibly want to fight, you know, Hody on some even playing grounds and everything. But Fukaboshi stops, and then he was like, you know what, I got a plan. So they end up leaving, and they're going to go ahead and do that. And then what happens is that Hody actually gets up there to Decken, and Decken's, you know, he has no problem because, you know, they had an arrangement, agreement and stuff like that. They're going to work together. So he doesn't really see him as a threat or nothing. And then, you know what I'm saying, Hody just comes up to him and everything like it's all good and stuff. And the next thing you know, boom, yo, he fucking stabs his ass with that goddamn trident that he has the whole time, man. And then he's like, oh shit. And then Decken's like, you betray me? And then Hody's like, hey, you're the one that betrayed me first. You don't think I saw that shit with Noah, goddammit? You know what I'm saying? That shit probably wasn't voluntarily towards me, motherfucker, but that shit was gonna fuck me up. You best believe that. But the reason why he wanted to do that is because, as of right now, like I was saying before, the goddamn Noah is directly on top of the Fishman Island. It's above it. So if Hody dies or he loses consciousness, that power is negated. You know what I'm saying? That's just gonna fall and destroy the goddamn whole island and shit. So fucking that's why he did it. But then goddamn Decken tries one last desperate attempt to fucking fight back, and he marks Hody, and then he throws his axe at him, but that shit kind of fails, and it works against Decken and cuts his whole shit up. And then he just fucking tosses him to the side, and then Hody fucking goes after Shirahoshi. Goddamn Mamboshi and ReUpload try to get in his way. Hody just fucking tosses him to the side. Hody goes ahead and grabs her ass by the hair, like, come here, bitch. And Hody is actually about to fucking kill her and shit, yo. And then the next thing you know, fucking Fukaboshi and Luffy come out of nowhere, son. And then Luffy hit him with that snake shot. I was like, oh shit, like, what the fuck going on here, yo? And they actually end up saving her and shit. And then that's when they look down and they actually realize what's going on, like why Hody actually did it, why Hody actually went ahead and put in work on Decken. And he's like, oh shit. And then fucking they're all yelling, they're yelling at Shirahoshi, telling her to change direction, you gotta change direction. And then eventually she hears them, hears what they're yelling at her about, because she's real far away. But the whole time Hody's like, don't mess with my plan. He's trying to like mess him up and everything, trying to put in work. You know what Hody do? Next thing you know, Decken is still a little bit conscious, so he goes ahead and uses the hand that he marked Hody with to try to throw the goddamn axe at him again and shit. But that shit fucking slips, and then he actually knocks himself out, and then he goes unconscious. And then the goddamn Noah is just falling towards the island, and everybody is panicking. You know what I'm saying? Shirahoshi's panicking, and she starts diving towards the Noah and shit. Goddamn Hody tries to attack her and everything, but one of her brother goes ahead and takes the hit. Fucking like everybody on the island notices that the Noah is actually coming down, right? So everybody's like, they put on the loudspeaker, everybody evacuate, and people start evacuating. But a lot of people are actually staying there because they see what's going on. They see that the Straw Hats, these humans, are actually fighting for them, and then like, you know what, we're gonna share their fate if they're actually gonna be doing this for us. So some of them actually stay there. I was like, that's what's up. That's what's up. But anyways, Luffy actually ends up getting bitten by that motherfucking shark teeth right there on the fucking shoulder and shit. Hard as shit. It's like, yeah! And then your boy Luffy fucking jet pistols him hard as shit, like, yo! And then his ass goes flying into the goddamn Noah. And then Luffy jumps off real quick, trying to head towards the Noah because he knows that he could possibly have an even fight in there real quick because of the air that's in there. Next thing you know, goddamn Hody, before he even gets there, he starts cutting up the goddamn bubble around the Noah and shit. And then everything is pretty much put to shit right there. Cause Hody actually starts throwing them goddamn shark arrows at goddamn Luffy once again. It's about to pop his bubble and everything. But right before it happens, Shirahoshi comes and saves him, and they start going down with the Noah, trying to catch up with it. And then what happens is that Fukaboshi, he actually confronts Hody, and he starts mocking him about his fake power and everything, that he's using this steroid drug and shit, and has side effects that'll like make your life shorter and stuff. And then Hody just makes quick work of him real quick, and then Fukaboshi comes back and shit, you know what I'm saying, mean mugging and everything. And then he fucking shits on his goddamn lance, yo, got a goddamn trident, and Hody's like, damn, well, okay, shit, knocked the shit out of my hand, yo. And then Fukaboshi just grilling him, yo, grabs him by the collar, yo, right him by that fucking fishman collar, yo. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, don't you understand what we're trying to do? Why are you doing this? You know, like, what did humans ever do to you? And then this motherfucker says nothing. And then Fukaboshi's like, what the fuck? He lets go. Next thing you know, boom, bitch! That man Hody puts in work on him. Fukaboshi bleeding and shit. He fucking falling down, you know what I'm saying? Straight caught him off guard. Defenses were down, yo. Next thing you know, come to find out that Fukaboshi tells Luffy and everybody that he's exactly what Queen OTOHIME and Tiger didn't want. You know, he is a product of their generation before them. You know, he was taught to hate humans. He was taught, you know, like, and it's instilled in him. It's a part of who he is, and they didn't do nothing to him in particular. It's just that he's a byproduct of that, and that's crazy. And I kind of loved this idea in a sense because that stuff happens in the real world as well with real people, you know. Like, so I was like, wow, man, that shit's pretty fucking deep. But anyways, Hody starts fucking jetting after them, and while that's happening, everybody is still trying to escape Fishman Island. Zoro and everybody still getting nice. Zoro ends up putting in work on Yuzu, whatever his fuck his name is. Goddamn Usopp is getting beats. He laid down a trap for Daruma and shit of all those goddamn holes with Chopper, and Chopper can dig now and shit. He got them big ass gangster goddamn horns and shit. So everybody is doing their thing, definitely. And also, when Fukaboshi had that plan, it turns out that they went to this station that's outside Fishman Island, and they let them know that they're gonna need to like gain pretty much like process a lot of air so that they could actually make this massive bubble that would actually go over the entire Noah, so that they would have air on the Noah, and also would probably slow it down some because it'll still keep sinking towards Fishman Island. So Hody fucking charges at Luffy and Shirahoshi and shit. Goddamn Luffy jumps on his back, breaks his goddamn fucking shark fin, hits that armament and fucking punches the shit out of him, yo. And then that man Hody goes ahead and pops some more fucking Roy pills, yo. And then this motherfucker starts getting even more diesel, more insane, like, I'm like, oh shit, yo. And then goddamn Luffy and they're sticking close to the Noah. Their brother actually told us to stick close to the Noah, and they're still going down with it. So as the Noah's going down and they're going down with it, they actually shoot the bubble and encases the whole Noah successfully. And when Fukaboshi was actually talking to Luffy about Hody and how he's a product of their environment and stuff, like that thing was being broadcasted all over Fishman Island, so everybody heard it. Jinbei heard it, everybody heard it, man. And Luffy was like, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna save y'all, I'm gonna save everybody, you know, because we're friends. You know what I'm saying? And the fishermen were just like, yo, let's go. Hody actually catches up to Luffy again, and goddamn Luffy fucking jet bazookas the fuck out of goddamn Hody, yo. But he fucking eats that shit. He starts laughing. He's like, that shit's fucking useless, yo. And then fucking Hody starts zooming back at him. Luffy's like, I'ma end it here. I'm not gonna let nobody ever die again, yo. And then he's like, no, yo, oh flame, burn him, yo. Goddamn, that fucking Jet Hawk, son, straight to that motherfucker's organs, just fucking up his whole inside, rearranges his goddamn stomach lining, his goddamn small and big intestines completely fucked up. That shit fucking launches his ass into the Noah. That shit was fucking vicious. That is the power of the Gum Fire Ace right there, yo. Nothing but pure power right there. Couldn't fuck with it. Next thing you know, Luffy's like, it's not over yet. And then he fucking jets onto the Noah with him. But goddamn, Luffy's kind of fucked up and shit, you know what I'm saying? He's bleeding from his arm and everything as soon as he gets there. Because this motherfucker bites the shit out of him. Man, Hody eats even more of those goddamn fucking drug pills, yo, them steroids, yo, going even to a deeper roid raid, son. And then Luffy's in that second gear, yo. He's trying to fucking jet pistol this dude and shit, but he can't even keep up with him, yo. He's too fucking fast. This shit is crazy. Goddamn Hody gets on top of him, grabs his arms and shit, fucking bites his ass again, and Luffy's like, fuck that shit, yo. He fucking gets that Red Hawk ready, right to the sternum, yo. This motherfucker eats that shit, goes fucking flying back. I was like, two Red Hawks to the goddamn stomach. You ain't feeling good today. Then after getting hit with that Red Hawk, being pushed back and shit, Hody fucking catches himself and everything, yo. Looking fucking grizzly as a shit, yo. Looking diesel as a bitch, son. And then Luffy's like, I'll save everybody. And then fucking Hody starts fucking throwing goddamn sharp packs at his ass. But now Luffy's like jetting up away from Hody because he's throwing all this shit at him and everything. And eventually that shit ends up catching him. Boom! And there's a big ass dust cloud. And got that Shirahoshi's like, Luffy! No! You know what I'm saying? You see Luffy falling down and shit. And Hody's like, yeah, bitch. He's pretty much feeling good about himself. And his man Luffy is just falling down like slow and shit. And next thing you know, you see him fucking wake up, yo. He gets that fucking third gear. Get third, yo! Until he fucking gets that elephant gun, yo, ready, son. Until he fucking launches that shit straight at Hody's fucking face. Hody sees that shit. And then he starts fucking tossing tons of goddamn fucking sharp packs at him, yo. And then they're both just mean mugging, yo. Just like, damn, yo. And then it fucking just goes straight through the goddamn sharp packs. It fucking shits on Hody's fucking face. Hard as shit. Straight into the goddamn Noah, yo. But no, it didn't even stop there, son. This man Hody was just there, yo, and he's looking up at Luffy, and he sees what's about to come at his ass. His fucking very demise. Yo, man, Luffy keeps that fucking elephant shit ready with that armament, and he prepares another one right here, yo. And he's, how the fuck you gonna dual-wield elephant pistols like that, son? How you gonna do that shit? And then he proceeds to leave the most devastating shit, yo. How you gonna do that? How you gonna smash somebody that fucking hard? And then right before he gets hit with that first fucking elephant gun, yo, Hody's like, may my will be. You know what I'm saying? He starts fucking talking about the demise, like his will live on, the shit on the Fishman Island, yo. And he gets fucking crushed. I mean, he gets fucking demolished straight through the Noah. Just constantly. And then he gets crushed so hard, he goes out through the shit into the water. Knocked the fuck out. Goddamn Fukaboshi and everybody, they go ahead and retrieve his body and Dekken's body. But the problem still lies that the Noah is still falling towards the goddamn Fishman Island and shit. So Luffy is going ham, yo. Just going off, man. He's like, I gotta break it. Because if he doesn't, this shit's gonna fall straight into the goddamn Fishman Island. Everybody's done, man. Meanwhile, Fishman Island, goddamn Brook is handling his thing. Fucking does that ice blade, yo, just cutting motherfuckers in half like it ain't nothing. Zoro deals people in, man. Everybody is just holding their own, smashing everybody. Frankie is just like, he shitted on that one dude with the fucking arms and shit, yo. He straight shitted on that dude. That shit was funny. With that fucking robot with the flames coming out, that shit was funny. But anyways, goddamn Luffy is just beasting it, yo. Like, he is putting everything, his all, into destroying the goddamn Noah, man. And then he gets to a point where he basically, like, destroyed half of it. And Shirahoshi's like, oh my god, you gotta stop. And then, you know, because Luffy's bleeding like crazy, man. The next thing you know, goddamn Luffy hears like this voice, and he was like, you can stop now, it's okay. Luffy's like, what the hell? And then Shirahoshi's like, stop, please stop, you gotta stop. And next thing you know, like, there's tons of these fucking Sea Kings around the Noah, and they stopped it from falling. And Luffy's like, ugh. And then he eventually stops. And then he sees that it's okay. And then he falls unconscious and shit. And goddamn Shirahoshi actually ends up helping him out right before all the goddamn water's about to get to him and everything. But it turns out that the Sea Kings actually helped out because Shirahoshi, like, she didn't like outright say that she needed help, but since she prayed for it and that she wanted it, you know, for that help, and she has the ability to speak to them, you know, they came, you know, and that was what's up, you know. And pretty much from then on, it's just smooth sailing. But wait, one more thing, almost forgot, and this is a very pivotal moment, actually, probably one of the most important ones in this entire arc. Shirahoshi, after she saves Luffy and everything, after he went unconscious, she's rushing back to the Straw Hats and everything, and she's crying because she can't stop Luffy from bleeding, and he lost too much blood. And Chopper sees that, and he's like, he needs a blood transfusion and everything. So he's asking anybody and everybody, like, do you have a blood, you know, Luffy, there's a certain blood type and everything. And there's certain fishmen out there that do have the blood type, but they want to do it. They're conflicted because they want to do it, because they know what they went through for them and stuff. But at the same time, they kind of don't want to because they know that there's that law in place about fishermen giving blood to humans, and as well as, you know, having their history behind them. So that's, you know, they're kind of like in this stalemate there. But then Jinbei just kind of like, he's like, you know what, move out the way, you know. And Jinbei goes ahead and says, yeah, you know, I'm his blood type. Boom, hooks him up with the transfusion and everything. So it's all good. And it was a great moment right there because it really kind of showed them and the world that One Piece is in that, you know, the fishmen and the humans can actually, you know, get along, work together, and live together the way that it really kind of should be. And it really sheds light on the whole situation. And they were kind of looking at Jinbei like, hey, you know, there's a law here and stuff like that. Like, Jinbei, aren't you worried about that? He was like, I'm a warlord. You know what I'm saying? He was like, a warlord. Well, not a warlord. He was like, I'm a pirate. So, you know, he was like, I ain't worried about that. So, you know, that was cool. And then they go ahead and show King Neptune, and then he's like, you know what, he's pretty much saying that it's an archaic law, we need to get rid of it, it's meaningless, it's stupid, so it just is what it is, man. And, you know, that's pretty much it with that. But also, Luffy ends up asking Jinbei to be a part of the Straw Hats. When I seen that, I was like, what? Yo, you serious, man? I was like, that would be the shit. And Jinbei basically said yes, but as of right now, he can't. So he was like, look, I gotta handle my own stuff first. And it turns out Jinbei is actually has some ties with Big Mom, so he wants to handle that first, and then he's pretty much gonna meet up with them at a later time after he can get that situated. So that's what's good. You know, the Straw Hats are seen as the heroes. They actually end up having a banquet. Well, first they tried to get out of there like Slick style, but then they were like, hey, we're gonna have a banquet, you know, y'all come together, get some grub, gonna have some presentations, everybody's seeing them as a hero, like they're calling them heroes. Luffy and Zoro are like, hey, don't call us heroes. I'm like, I'm not sharing my meat, and Zoro's like, I'm not sharing my sake and shit like that. It's funny as shit, man. And then also throughout the point, King Neptune, well, Robin actually gets a chance to talk to King Neptune about what she found in the sea forest earlier, because she found a poneglyph, and she was actually talking to him about that. And it turns out that Princess Shirahoshi is actually gonna potentially be one of these great weapons named Poseidon, because she has the ability to speak to the Sea Kings and such, and like he knows about it as well. And you know, it's kind of very daunting for him, but he usually wouldn't want to talk about it whatsoever, but since he trusts the Straw Hats and her, he said, you know, he went ahead and talked to her about it. And also it turns out that the shit that happened from them actually eating the goddamn roid pills backfired on him for side effects. They turned like Decken, Hody, and all his like lieutenants, captains turned fucking like old and fucking crippled and shit and everything. They're still talking mad shit in their cell, but they're just useless now. They're all fucked up and shit. So what happens after that is that Caribou is still running around, and Caribou actually has made his way into the castle, and Caribou stole all the treasure, including that Tamate box that I was talking about earlier. And Nami was talking to King Neptune before, and he was like, hey, we can have the treasure? We have the treasure? And then King Neptune was like, sure, I mean, y'all the saviors of the island and stuff, like, well, why not? That's the least that we could do. But when they go for it, all the treasure's been taken by Caribou and shit. And then Luffy and them actually see Caribou there, because Caribou actually wanted to kidnap Shirahoshi, and and they end up kicking his ass out of the goddamn palace back on the Fishman Island and shit. And then Nami finds out what they did, so she ends up throwing them three fucking down the goddamn Fishman Island. So they're like, oh damn. So they go ahead, and as soon as they get there, they pretty much find him, and they get all the treasure back and stuff. But while that's happening, you got these two henchmen of Big Mom actually there, and they're at the candy shop wondering where's the candy at, because that shit was destroyed earlier by Daruma, that Kermit the Frog motherfucker, yo. And it turns out that, you know, they're asking for some time to fix it. They're trying to explain the situation. And then Luffy comes there talking about, yeah, I ate all the candy and all this stuff. And they're like, oh shit, so you're the one that ate it and all this? So it turns out that Big Mom finds out. She ends up calling Luffy, starts talking to her on the phone, and basically she ends up putting her anger towards Luffy and shit. And then Luffy's like, you know what? I'm gonna make Fishman Island my territory. It is what it is. And she's like, you know what? I'm gonna meet you in the new world. He was like, hey, I'll be there. It is what it is. But after that, they ended up saying their farewells to everybody and stuff, and they promised Shirahoshi that they would come take her to, you know, pretty much the human world, in a sense, to an actual forest eventually. And that was pretty much it, guys. And now I just want to say a few things about this arc in general. First of all, to those people that were telling me, don't worry about Fishman Island, don't read it, why the fuck not? It wasn't bad. It wasn't like the greatest arc, but it was good. I don't see what the issue here is with not reading it or whatever. don't get me wrong, I don't think it was probably written the best out of them, but it was still very solid. Another thing is that I always watch everything of something that I love to watch, you know, and also I feel like this arc had a lot of vital information about Arlong, about Jinbei, about Tiger, you know, about OTOHIME, you know what I'm saying, finding out what drove Arlong, finding out where Jinbei, you know, really came from, and actually like how he sees the world himself, and finding out exactly like who saved Boa Hancock and her sisters and all these other slaves that were slaves from the celestial dragons. All this stuff was very important. Like, I'm very glad that I didn't skip this arc by all means, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was good. Like, I enjoyed the fuck out of it, without a doubt. And I really don't understand why it gets that much of a bad kind of rap, but from some people. But hey, I guess it's just me, and I just really enjoy this series so much. Like, I really do. I've enjoyed it even, you know, from the very beginning. I've enjoyed it. Like, it's still to this day, I enjoy the hell out of it. So guys, that's pretty much it. I want to thank y'all for watching once again, guys. Remember to always comment, rate, share these videos, subscribe to my new viewers, you know what I'm saying, get the stuff out there, guys. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching like always, and I'm sorry it took me too long for me to get this out there. I've just been busy and stuff, things have been happening. You know, it just is what it is. Things like that happen. But I'm going to try to keep this rolling the way that I want to. But alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm Shampoo. This is Anime Central, where anime comes to life. And I'll holler at y'all next time. This is One Piece. Peace. Live life with the hand I'm giving. Champagne sipping.